Yeah.
Who's that? He's disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, and the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all, and welcome back. Feel like my old self again, finally, Lonzo.
He stayed up late. He's hitting the energy drinks. Look out, people. Oh, no. That's probably number 7. I don't know.
2, but the first of a few. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Carolina Hurricanes. Thank you, Florida Panthers, for reminding me why I love sports so damn much. Did I stay up, Lonzo, until 1:54 in the wee morning hours watching a four-time overtime Lord Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Eastern Conference final game? You are rootin' tootin', gosh darn shootin' sure did. Absolutely.
He'll never be able to do that again.
No, I was nervous about that one. I was tiptoeing into that one. Welcome in, y'all. It's a good day. Have a good day, ain't it? We got a lot of stuff to get to. Lakers Nuggets 108-103. Denver up a pair of games, headed back to Los Angeles, and the Lakers are in TROUBLE.
Cause your boy.
Braun.
No, not him.
Nikolai?
No, because of Anthony Davis. Yes.
Who
put up 40 the game before and then couldn't buy a bucket with all his millions yesterday.
The whole playoffs he's done this.
Yes, he's very consistent, which is why I was kind of concerned about yesterday. I don't think LeBron played any worse than he has the whole season. But Anthony Davis, that was hard to watch. It really was.
We're going to get to it here in just a minute. But I'm going to say this real quick. Zoe, it is a fellow old who is, I think, 6 months younger than Braun. I'm going to just go ahead and say last night was the first time, maybe ever, that as we got deep into the fourth period of that basketball game, I thought to myself, Father Time is nipping at the heels of the great LeBron James.
You are risking putting yourself alongside that one dude who said the stuff, and I can't remember his name. You know why? Because no one can really remember his name because he got kicked off the team afterwards.
Dylan Brooks.
There it is. Okay, so you can remember his name. No one will remember like a month from now.
You know what the difference is between me and Dylan Brooks?
A lot of money.
You know what the other difference is between me and Dylan Brooks?
He's not wearing that killer pineapple bongo shirt that you're wearing. Those are bongos, right? You don't know.
No,
look at how the lace things. That's how you would hold the bongo head down.
It is a drum. I don't know if I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt today because I'm just having one of those bleep it Fridays, you know?
So you're Bill Belichick today. Cool.
I watched that game last night, and between Braun getting a breakaway dunk that he just
that was kind of
lost the ball.
That was pretty embarrassing. It was.
Between the breakaway dunk where he just lost the ball, the fact that LeBron has efforted 23-point field goals in the fourth quarter of games this postseason. He's tried 20. He's made, Lonzo. You want to take a stab at it? 24th quarter 3-point efforts. How many has he made?
3.
Uno.
Ah.
Singular. Un. Ichi. 1. He's made 1. He's made a single fourth quarter 3-point field goal out of 20 lifted. Statistically speaking, Braun's numbers have gone down in the fourth. And I'm very, very upset because
By the way, that's a ipuhula.
See, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah. That's what they're called in Hawaii. And they are drums, because I looked at how the setup and everything is. You probably thought it was beer, but
when I bought it, I did.
Yeah. Those are drums.
When I bought it, I absolutely thought, that's kind of dope. It's like ukuleles, pineapples, and brewskis.
I just want to say your ipuhula is on point today.
Thanks. Puffy appendixes and ipuhulas. You learn new things every day here on the Rob Brown Show.
Weenus and Pitts.
The Weenus and Pitt Show.
On the radio.
Last night was the first time that I looked at LeBron and went, he's kind of a liability right now. Now, remember Wendy told us last week that Bron's been playing on a foot injury. That the goal has been to kind of let LeBron go out there and not loaf, but just not require him to be the GOAT. Not to require him to single-handedly carry this basketball team. And I'm going to go ahead and call the shot now that when this series is over, a series the Denver Nuggets are now going to win. When this series is over, we are going to get, and I will let you decide if you're going to believe it or not. We are going to get the news report that says LeBron James had a foot injury that should have required season-ending surgery. And what a legend for gutting it out and playing through it. Now, I don't know, to be honest with you, if I'm going to accept that as a reality or not. I don't know. What I do know is that if you're going to be a liability like LeBron was last night in the fourth quarter, you would better have a spectacular first 3 quarters. And Bron was pretty good. But stop the presses. Nikola Jokic had another triple-double because that's what he does.
Boring.
You be as boring as you want.
Boring.
If you're going triple-double. I'm not going to disagree. In fact, I said last night, I had a couple of texts with buddies going on late into the eve as I had both TVs going at the house watching both games until the hockey game decided to play another hockey game, which we'll come to in just a minute. But I was texting a buddy last night. We were talking about LeBron. We were talking about Jokic. And I said, you know why I love Nikola Jokic? It's because of how bleeping boring his game is. And I love that. I love it.
He's that, what they call a lunch pail guy.
Yes.
Comes to work, does his job.
For a dude who says he loves lunch pail players, Lonzo, you of all people should be in here rocking a Nuggets jersey today.
No, but I was being sarcastic about that. I mean, that dude is that good that he can do that while being, I mean, color your hair green. I mean, that give you a little flair, make you stand out a little more, because he doesn't stand out when he does it either, because it's not showboaty. It's just, he goes down. I'm supposed to make a shot. I'm going to go make a shot. I'm supposed to make a block. I'm supposed to get a rebound. That's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to run back up the other end of the court.
It is methodical. It is tactical. It's boring basketball, and I love it. I love it. I genuinely love it. I have so much fun watching this tall, lanky white dude go out there and play the most boring incredible basketball on planet Earth. You're right. There's no flash. There's no sizzle. There's no razzle dazzle. It is just old school, blue collar, the way your middle school coach told you to play it, NBA basketball, and it is kicking everybody's rear end. And I'm here for it, dude. I love it. What part of his game isn't incredible? In how I'm a fan of the Eagles. The band, not the Birds. Or the football team. I mean, I guess I'm a fan of the Birds, too.
How could you not? I mean,
Eagles are cool.
Especially if you see one up close and see how big they truly are. Yeah.
Eagles are cool. I'm a fan of the Birds as well. By the way, if anybody's going to be at the Greenville Zoo for Brew at the Zoo tonight, hit your boy up. I'll be there. Nothing better than beer and wildlife, right?
Do you actually look at the animals on such an event? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm never.
why wouldn't I?
I'm sure it's a wonderful event. I'll never go. But
why won't you go to a zoo?
No, I've been to that zoo. I just won't go on that particular night.
I'm a big fan of the Eagles. And
especially if you're going to be there, man. Why would I want to be there?
Oh, okay. We're going on that.
Well, I mean, because
you know, no, that's fine. That's fine, bro.
When the party,
no, that's cool, man.
When the party's already there, you can't add nothing to it.
No. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I see.
Hey, Rob.
Hey,
Rob.
No, it's fine.
Rob.
Don't worry about my feelings. They are just fine.
Rob, look at me.
Smart ass.
And no, there were no obscene finger gestures or anything for anyone who's just listening on the radio. By the way, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Yeah, we are. Hit us up. Search the Fan Upstate or the Rob Brown Show on all of those things. All right, so I'm a fan of the Eagles, the band. Don Henley, Glenn Fry, Joe Walsh, yada, yada, yada.
That other guy that people forget, but he actually did sing some of their songs.
Jacobs.
Don Felder?
Yeah, that's it. But that other guy. Big fan of the band.
The Jokic of the band.
The Nikola Jokic of music. Big fan of the Eagles, and I have told people for many, many years, besides the fact that that's the one bad take that the Big Lebowski had. Big Lebowski guy. The only thing he was wrong about is that the Eagles are incredible. Now, the Eagles are incredible, Lonzo, to me, because of how beautiful their music is in its simplicity, right? The Eagles' music at its core is basic. It's a lot of GCD chords. It's a lot of blues stuff with sevenths and minors. It's very simple in its music theory.
I don't know. The twin lead on Hotel California is kind of.
I don't disagree, yeah. But what makes it complicated is there's two guys layering simplicity on top of each other, right? It's beautiful because of its simplicity and the way that they harmonize the simplicity. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Denver Nuggets and how they play basketball. It's not complicated. You don't have to have a master's degree in basketballology to understand it. Nikola Jokic's game is simply dominant and dominant in its simplicity. It complements Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's game is not overly complicated. He's not out there being a wizard with the basketball. He's not Allen Iverson in the playoffs. Jamal Murray's game is remarkably simple compared to other guys who play that position, and it can be and should be because that's how it meshes so well with Nikola Jokic. There are plenty of guys you could plug into that offense with Nikola Jokic, and it wouldn't work. And it wouldn't work because they'd want to do too much. They would want to do too much, and it would take away from what Jokic does with his very simple but yet incredibly effective simple style of basketball. If you put James Harden next to Nikola Jokic, would it work? Nope. Kyrie, would it work? No.
Why are you picking troubled players who go places and catch them on fire?
That's fine. Would Jason Tatum work with Nikola Jokic? I don't think he would. Not as well. I mean, he could probably make it work if he wanted to, but the way he plays his game today, it wouldn't work. Jamal Murray's offense is simple. If I got the ball, get to a spot where either I create an offensive option for myself or I draw Nikolai's guy over and I can hit him. If Nikolai's got the ball, cut, release, cut, release, cut, release, cut, release until Nikolai backs his dude down because we've opened up the paint, or until I cut and Jokic throws a ridiculous behind the head, behind the back assist. If you are one of these people that constantly complains about the NBA because it's just too much nowadays, right? It's not about defense, I'm just assist and young hair on millennials. If you're one of those guys, then watch the Denver Nuggets. They'll make you love basketball again. It is beautiful in its simplicity. It's not complicated. Last night, Darvin Ham did what he did every other series, right? We're trying to make halftime adjustments. We're trying to create a different look that the Nuggets have to alter their offense around. And they were like, nah, we all right. We going to do what we do, how we do it. And we're going to beat you by being dominant in our simplicity. And it worked like a dream. The Nuggets are up a deuce. And ladies and gentlemen, take your pen, write it down. The Lake Show had a wonderful, surprising run through the playoffs, and it's over because the Denver Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals like I told you they would a week and a half ago.
All right, last I checked, Rob Brown, the LA Lakers have not lost at home. And in order for Denver to just sew it up, they've got to win one in LA.
They don't. Got home court. You can win all four at home.
Okay, all right.
But I get what you're saying.
So you're right.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Denver's taking at least
to
one.
Win all four, what has to happen though? You have to go 7, right?
For the sweep?
Yeah.
No.
To win all four at home,
hey, you gotta go 7. Correct.
You got to go 7.
This ain't going to 7.
We'll see.
LeBron looks that tired in game 2. He's gonna be dead by game 5. He won't be because he's LeBron. We all know that. But if he was that exhausted, and again, I'm a Braun guy. I like LeBron. I might be the only person in the upstate who likes LeBron. I like LeBron. I pull for LeBron. But last night was the first time that I think even those of us that are LeBron fans looked and went, that dude's gassed.
You know what I looked at? I looked and thought, who can we trade Anthony Davis for? I'm not a Lakers fan, but who can they trade Anthony Davis for to get back someone who has enough energy to play 2 games in a row? Because Anthony Davis looked a lot more tired than LeBron did. And why did LeBron look tired? Because he had to pick up the slack for Anthony Davis, who's supposed to be your number 2, supposed to be your complimentary guy who only shows up every other game.
So somebody floated a theory at me last night. And the theory got floated at me was that the Lakers' plan in these playoffs, which has been true in every series, they've been the away team. The Lakers' plan has been from the beginning, go in, steal game 1, coast, rest up game 2, come back, go bananas in 3 and 4 at home, and then just pick up one more win in the back 3. And if you go follow the series, that checks out. The Lakers win game 1. They drop game 2. They play their asses off in game 3 and 4 at home. And then they try to eke it out towards the end of the line. It's worked so far. Now the Nuggets, by taking game 1, threw a wrench into that system. And it's like, now you got to go hard in game 2. And that's the spot where Bron and AD have been turning in lackluster performances in this postseason. Is it because they have been letting off the gas in game 2 to save it all up for 3 and 4 at home on home court? I don't love the strategy, but it does make sense based on the trend of the performances.
I mean, I can see it. I can see why people would think that's what it is. But what if tomorrow night they come back and they destroy Denver at home, and then they do it again the next night, and Denver gets it in their mind, oh no, here we go again, because they haven't been where LA has been. And so in their mind, if you break their spirit a little bit, I mean, it isn't like it's been blowouts. I think both games were decided by 5. And in question, well, maybe the first game was a little bit more. But yesterday, the Lakers led the entire game until the fourth quarter. And they could have won that game. So, I mean, it's not like Denver is just beating them down. It's within reach. So if you break someone's spirit a little bit, that may be all it takes to get those last few points to win a game in Denver. I'm not saying that Denver's going to win this series yet. We'll see what happens the next 2 games in LA.
Tied up at 27 after the first. LA was up 5 at the half. They were up 3 at the end of the third, and then the Nuggets won the fourth by 8.
Yeah, in between those end of quarter things, they were up by a lot more than that.
22 points, 9 of 19 from the field for Braun last night.
All right, so
0 for 5 from 3 points
so,
deep. That's the other part that
no, the first game he only had 26, so he had 22 this game.
Again, the numbers are coming down game by game
He
for
missed,
LeBron.
He missed 2 shots. I mean, he should not be taking those threes. I completely agree. And
that's what tells me he's gassed. It is easier to launch a 26-foot three-pointer than to drive, get in 10 years ago, late in that game. What's the best way to prevent Nikola Jokic from dominating your team? Get him in foul trouble, put him on the bench. 10 years ago, how does LeBron attack that team last night? Drive to the rack, bump into Nikolai, draw the superstar fouls, get him on the bench. In fact, he did it because I love LeBron, but he flopped on that foul against Nikolai.
That was a masterful flop.
Yeah, I love LeBron, but he absolutely took a flop against Nikolai.
Well, you know, Rob,
it worked.
He is an actor.
He is. Space Jam.
And like Trainwreck or something like that.
Yeah, with I think John Cena was in that movie too.
Yeah.
I love Braun. I do. But he flopped in that game. But again, what's the best way to get Nikolai to stop dominating your team? Get him on the bench in the third and the fourth with foul trouble, which requires you to drive the rack, bump into Nikolai, get the personal foul, and sit him down. Instead, Braun was putting up 28-footers over and over and over in the fourth quarter. A quarter in, we have mentioned this, through these playoffs, he is 1 for 20 from deep. You know what else that tells me? Tired legs, bro.
It also tells me stop shooting the 3, man.
Yeah.
Let Austin Reeves do it.
All right, let's take a break. Rick, I see you on the phone line. You stay there. We'll talk some more shooty hoops when we come back. I'm looking for you NBAers out there. Y'all ask me all the time, Rob, why don't you talk more basketball? We talk about what you talk about. If you want to talk about it, now's your chance. 71307 is the text line. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. You can call us on the GilstrapFamilyDealerships.com phone line, 844-326-3663. I got Rick coming up next. Everybody else file in line on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, we got a live read right here. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
210-2900. I'm Mark Ryan.
No, Kevin, first of all, I don't know. Maybe you consider that a slight, whatever. But the reason why I'm wearing this, there's a couple of reasons. One, because I think I'll be Al Davis today. Or I thought I'll be the bad guy in an 80s team movie. Or I thought, okay, we just got these cool pullovers. It's unusually cool for this time of year. This might be the only chance I get to wear it because it'll be back in the 90s forever, and then I'll put it away. Or I thought the Upstate Pulse is back live this Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. right here on, right there on News Talk WRD. And maybe I just wanted to advertise that my show's back live tomorrow. But really, it's just because it's a cooler day, and I know I'll never get a chance to wear it again until the fall. I do wonder if it's bad form to wear the logo of another station while on another station.
We're all one big happy family.
I mean, if I had a Planet One, I'd wear a Planet One.
I do want some Planet gear.
Yeah, I mean, same with
a Diesel t-shirt.
Who doesn't?
Y'all, I love sports so much. Last night, I went up to the Peace Center, Lonzo, to watch Get the Lead Out, a Led Zeppelin tribute band, who were phenomenal, by the way.
I was going to say, how is the Robert Plant impersonator? Do they actually sing the songs and play the songs?
Oh, yeah. And they were good, dude.
What's the crowd?
They were tight.
What's the crowd like, though?
I brought the average age down.
Okay, because I'm thinking 60s maybe.
I brought the average age down.
I mean, it makes sense because their heyday was back in the early 70s.
Yeah.
So
Houses of the Holy came out in 77-ish. So mid to late 70s into the very, very early 80s.
Anybody else in the building there that you saw?
I didn't see any of our people, but I will also acknowledge that I went solo. So I may not have sat in my exact assigned seat.
Okay. Because it's easy to flow in and out of empty seats when you're alone.
Yeah. 2, 3, 5 songs in, you're like, hey, that one up there on the end's not.
Just raise your hands up and just move.
Yeah.
Okay.
It effectively was, the ploy was go from my seat, step out into the hallway, walk up a door, step back in, pick that seat up, and just be like, sorry, I'm late. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm late. And grab the seat. Nobody cares. I'm by myself. Who cares? Except
for that person who knows that you're not late because
that was my friend's seat.
Who's sick and couldn't come. So
yeah, well, your friend's sick. What do you care?
I'm your friend now.
Yeah. Phenomenal show.
How long did it last?
2.5, 2:45 with a 20-minute intermission in the middle. So just under 2.5 hours.
Led Zeppelin would never take an intermission.
I don't know that that's true or not because I've not seen Led Zeppelin. That may shock you.
Yeah, because, again, they were popular when I was a little kid. So
I got home from that show, which was a very good show. If those fellas are still in town and they happen to be listening, phenomenal job last night. Got home. For the final 3 minutes of the NBA game, and for the final 7-10 minutes of the Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Finals. Game number 1, Florida Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes. So I sit down. I put the basketball game on the big TV. I put the hockey game on the little TV. I kick my feet up. I pour myself a nice little Charleston Distilling Company bourbon on ice.
Why were you specific to that,
Got to give them credit. They make a...
Buy Carolina? Is that what you're saying, I guess? Like buy South Carolina, like buy America.
What?
You said Charleston.
Yeah, that's the name of the distillery company.
It's in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yes.
I didn't know if you picked it because it's from here.
No. Sorry. Okay, got it. I'm slow today. No, the soon-to-be brother-in-law got me for Christmas a gift certificate to that distillery.
Hey, man, I don't drink, okay? I'm just trying to help the people out there who don't, because there are some people out there who don't. They've reached out. I know they exist.
I know they do. I'm fine with it. He got me a gift certificate because the last time we went to Charleston, he brought us there. I really enjoyed their bourbon. So I used that gift certificate on a red wine barrel aged bourbon, which is phenomenal. So I poured just a touch over ice last night, a couple fingers worth. I kicked the feet up on the couch, started watching the game. And we go to overtime of the hockey game with just a few minutes left in the basketball game. I finished the basketball game. The basketball game, we just talked about that, ends. I go back to the hockey game. I moved the hockey game from the little TV over to the big TV thinking, all right, it's overtime. Somebody's got to score and win this thing. I don't know that there's anything better than overtime hockey. 40 minutes later, the first overtime period ends. 20 minutes of OT hockey in the books. We are still tied at a deuce apiece. So I'm going to go to the 20-minute intermission between overtimes. And I'm sitting on the couch and I'm texting with a friend of the show, P1 Joey B. Texting with Joey B. We text hockey. We bet hockey together at night. And I'm like, dude, this is great, man. Overtime hockey's the best. We go to the second overtime. Gretzky and the gang on the NHL on TNT postgame show are in studio, and they're just like talking all the hockey you can handle. Go to the second overtime. 20 minutes later of hockey time, 40 minutes of real time. We end the second overtime. It's still 2-2. We get into the second period, and now I know the studio guys are like, what else are we supposed to say? And I know that because they asked Wayne Gretzky, how many triple overtime games did you play? He said, in my career, none. I never played triple overtime. He said, I can tell you as a player, 2 overtimes make you feel like you ran a marathon. They're going to want to end this one quick. They go to the third overtime. 20 minutes of hockey, 40 minutes of real time later, we're still netted up at a deuce apiece. Now we get to the studio show, and I know they're gassed because they're asking the great one. This many overtimes, how do you handle it? You know what Gretzky decided to talk about? Did he talk about how they handle the attack, what the passing lanes look like? Do you get to a point where you check the boards versus the middle of the ice? Are you more concerned about preventing the counter on a rush? Nope. Wayne Gretzky decided to describe in great detail that his tradition, Lonzo, was he changed underwear between every period.
It's a good move.
Great move.
Yeah, because you don't want to be soggy down.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to carry swamp butt through 3 overtimes. My favorite part.
Are those provided by the team?
That's a genuinely good question. I don't know the answer to.
So does the trainer know that Gretzky's changing underwear in between and has them ready? Nice.
Another overtime. Yeah. Hope you picked up the Hanes 6-pack. I don't know. What I do know is that hockey guys being hockey guys, they have Gretzky, a studio host, and 3 former players. And I don't know which one of them said it. But the studio guy's asking the hockey guys, he's like, all right, it's this situation. We have now finished the third overtime. Lonzo, that is a complete second game of hockey, right? 3 20-minute periods. They've now played 3 overtime periods. They have played 2 NHL games, and it's not over. They still got to go back out there, and somebody's got to score to win. He goes, what are you thinking? And one of the hockey guys goes, I don't know, something along the lines of let me say it the way that he said it. And there's going to be a couple of bleeps here. But I'm not going to say the words, Lonzo. I'm going to tell you what the guy said, how he said it, but I'll bleep out the bad part. He said, I don't know. I'm thinking what I'm thinking right now is somebody please put the puck in the bleep, bleep net. But he didn't say bleep and bleep. He dropped the heavy G and the heavy D live on the studio show. Hockey guy gonna hockey guy. Full NHL hockey guy breakdown. It was an incredible moment in broadcasting.
Did the producer get it?
Oh, no.
Oh.
It was very live and very on the air. It's a studio show. This is 100% live. There's no dump button delay on TV.
Yeah, there used to be, though.
There might be.
Yeah.
Like, I know when I reported.
After Janet Jackson, they because there was a whole FCC thing.
I don't think on cable they do. You can still say that on cable.
Yeah, but I think it's only after a certain time.
It was way after the time.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
This was happening at legitimately 1:05 in the morning, something like that. He goes, I don't know. All I'm thinking is, will somebody please put the bleep, bleep puck in the net? They then played Lonzo. 19 minutes and 48 seconds of the fourth 20-minute overtime before Kachuk netted the game winner with 12 seconds left to go in OT4. I was convinced we were going to 5 overtimes last night. And I have to tell you, I fell in love with sports all over again. I asked you guys last week, early in this week, this is the battle for Rob Brown's heart. The state that raised me versus the state that's adopted me that I now call home. I don't know or care who wins this series, but the winner of this series is the team I'm pulling for in the cup.
Let me take you back like a couple of weeks ago when we were discussing having two favorite teams, and you asked me who I'd root for if Kansas City played the Panthers.
Yep.
And you said that I could not love them equally. And here you are in the same sort of dilemma. And I'm curious to see how you handle it.
Right, but I don't list either of those teams as my primary fandom, right? I'm a Predators guy first and foremost.
Okay.
If it was Predators v. Canes, I'd be like, go Preds, but if the Canes win, I'll be cool with it. I fell in love.
Just don't want any double standards. That's all.
Not me.
I don't want any of that.
I am true always.
Consistency for the peeps. That's what we need.
Always. So I'm watching this game last night. It is the battle for Rob Brown's heart. My adopted state versus the state that raised me. Well, my adopted states, I know they're in North Carolina, but the Carolinas, you get it. Anyway, I spent from 10:45 last night until 1:54 a.m. on the edge of my seat because every rush at the net, every slapper, every wrister, everything they went for, I was like, no. I fell in love with hockey. I fell in love with sports all over again. There was no part of that. I went to bed at 2 a.m., right? Games ended, went to the bathroom, washed my hands, grabbed a bottle of water, went to the bed, laid down, plugged in the phone, put it on the nightstand, and tried to lay my dear sweet head down to sleep. Was nowhere near ready to go to sleep. I was up for that game. That game had everything that I love about sports. It was fast-paced. It was clutch. You had big-time performances. Sebastian Aho had some moments. All three Stahl brothers had some moments. Anderson, Bobrovsky were both putting on master classes between the pipes. It was everything. They went back after my dude said, all I'm thinking is, will someone please put the puck in the bleep, bleep net? And they went to Gretzky. And at this point, you can see Wayne's old man face starting to show up, right? And the great one goes, We love overtime hockey. It's the most thrilling thing in sports, but I think we've all had enough, right? Like, he was so done. And I was sitting there just like, I wanted OT5. I wanted to stay awake for another hour.
Could have saved it all with a shootout, right?
Why? It's the playoffs.
Yeah, but
let's play. You know what I love about it? They let hockey decide who the hockey winner was.
So a shootout is not hockey deciding? I mean, it's still someone hitting a puck and someone trying to stop it.
It's not hockey.
It's not?
No, it's a shootout.
Looks like hockey to me.
Hockey is two teams of skaters battling over possession, battling over territory. It was great. It was incredible. It was everything I love about sports wrapped up. 1:54 in the morning, and I wanted more. I hope the rest of the series does the same thing over and over. Texas said, Rob saying he's a predator. LOLOL. It's a hot. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Diddy said I accidentally fell asleep in the third overtime.
That was pretty late.
It was very late.
Not for 24-year-old Rob Brown.
Not for 24-year-old Rob. 38-year-old Rob Brown was like, I'm trying to come up with a good comparison here. But I think all of us have done something that was an incredible experience in the heat of the moment. And the minute it was over, you were like, I have made a mistake. Right? You had that night where the new video game drops and you get into it and you keep hitting. You're like, I need to go to bed, but one more thing, right? Like one more mission, one more side quest, one more.
He's trying to find something I can relate to.
Yes, I am. Because most of those things I'm talking about are not that.
Rob Brown Show, what do you want to talk about? All right. That's all right. Hang on, Rick.
Rick?
Hey, look at the video I sent you.
Oh, you did send me a video. I saw that yesterday. That kid's incredible.
I haven't heard the sound, but
it's pretty good.
It's not real because that's not real milk. Because my understanding of real milk, it doesn't show up well on camera. So they have to use like a mixture to make it look that white.
My dude dumped 2 whole ass cartons on himself.
Real milk doesn't stay on your face like that. I know I'm being hypercritical.
You've picked a very weird thing to.
No, because I'm curious about what they put in those milk cartons.
Even if it's staged, that kid killed it. Hey, Diddy, we were just talking about you, buddy. You should be. Hey, everybody, look, Diddy's in the building.
Hi, friends.
You missed a banger of a 4:30.
Hello, friend.
I was on the couch. I woke up and it was like 3 a.m. I was like, wait.
For the record, you just barely missed the end of it.
Yeah, right.
It was although about midway through the 4th OT, I texted Joey B. He's like masterclass in goaltending, and it was a masterclass in goaltending. I was like, but it's not hurt by the fact that these guys look like they're skating through molasses right now. It was so slow.
It's gonna be interesting to see the rest of the series.
Oh yeah,
after that
they're gonna be dog ass tired.
They've already played 2 games.
Yeah.
So
Brendan
6 left.
Brendan Moore said they're. He's like, we're off today. Like we're off today. We're not. There's no need to practice. Yeah, we're actually gonna talk about that later. But like, there's not only a physical toll that has to be played, but like. There's got to be a mental toll for going that deep into a game and then losing on a heartbreaker.
Confidence crushing for Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky was a wonder kid in the OTs.
He's been insane this
he
was never this good before.
Every single player in that game. But yeah, by the way, you still do have a March Madness segment to claim.
I got it.
Sure do.
Timing on that.
Well,
I'm here brief period to make this.
Well, I'll see you there tonight, big fella.
Drink some Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Good
Can't
to have you
wait.
Back, Lonzo.
Thank you.
See you tonight, buddy. The legendary Diddy in the building.
That wasn't awkward, by the way. That's just me. This is me. He's known me long enough.
No problem. We have a how-to for you at AutoZone.com.
Still trying to figure out a way to, if I want to go to Dragon Con or not. We say every year we're going to go, and I really want to go. I could just drive up for one day.
That's the one in Atlanta?
Yeah. It goes on from like Thursday through Monday. Although I was looking at the guest list right now, unless you're into Serenity and all that kind of stuff, Nathan Fillion is going to be there. And so are a couple characters that were on that show. I'm more about finding stuff to buy than I am seeing panels anyway. And looking at everybody.
Yeah. People watching is phenomenal. Wrapping up the first hour of the radio broadcast already, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get Rick in here real quick before we go to the top of the hour. Talk a little shooty hoops after game 2 is won by the Denver Nuggets, 108-103. They are up a pair of games, headed back to L.A. tomorrow night. Rick, welcome back to the show, big fella. How we doing?
I appreciate it, Rob. I got 3 things to say.
Fire away. We got about 3 minutes.
Number 1, you're right. LeBron is old, and he looks old, okay?
Yeah, it's the first time I can remember looking at Braun and thinking, Father Time's undefeated, big dog. I love you. And don't get me wrong. LeBron at old is still as good as the overwhelming majority of players in the NBA, but it's the first time that somebody else is going to have to stick up and pick up the pace for him.
Stick a fork in him, he's done, okay? Number 2, I watched the best movie I've ever seen last night. It's got Woody Harrelson in it. It's called Champion. You got to watch it, Rob. It will make you cry. It's about a basketball coach that teaches underprivileged special needs kids, and it will make you cry.
Saw the previews for that. I've heard it was really good. I might have to check it out.
I've seen in 20 years. It's a sports movie. Your fans will like it.
Love it.
Number 3, you always like music. Go see Randomonium sometime. I'm putting a plug in for them. They are an awesome band, and they play around Greenville.
Yes, I appreciate it, Rick. Good to talk to you, big dog. I actually saw them play at, you know where I saw them play? At the Warehouse in Midtown. Warehouse in Midtown. Saw them play there once. I thought they were great. And I guess there's like different iterations of the band, like different members play in different offshoot bands. So the main band plays covers of everything, but then there's like an 80s version, a 90s cover, a 70s version, a soul version, a disco version. I have to check more out of them. But thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. I will say this real quick before we run to the break. I am not going to agree with Rick on one point that he made. Stick a fork in him, he's done. LeBron James at 80%. Lonzo's still a top 20 player in the NBA?
For sure.
Top 15 player?
And still one of the most well-known athletes in the entire world.
LeBron at 80% at 38 years of age is still a top 20 NBA player. He is still a guy. Now, the difference between LeBron at 80% and LeBron at 28 at 100% is that you're going to have to start picking up areas of LeBron's game that he used to be able to carry no problem, right? LeBron late in that game at 28 is driving the paint, is getting into Nikolai, is drawing fouls. He can't do that anymore. LeBron has been knocked to the ground a number of times in the last 2 series, and that takes a toll. So now I need other guys. Last night, Hachimura did it. Lonzo's boy, Austin, has been...
Austin Reeves, MVP.
That dude's been fun, my man. The White Mamba. He has been fun.
And he ain't scared.
Of nothing. I love that guy. So the Lakers have a couple of role players. The problem is, Lonzo, everybody's piling it on Bron. This is supposed to be where a young Anthony Davis is the guy. This is your time to take the torch. And Bron is still having to carry it. You want to blame somebody on this team, it's AD, not LeBron. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We can talk more about that in the next hour. My name is Rob Brown. His is Lonzo. And you are listening to The Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
It would have worked better if there wasn't music behind that stupid liner.
Can I borrow that pen? My magnet pen rolled up under the board, and it's just past the point where my fat fingers can get to it.
I can call Chris if need be. I'm sure he doesn't have anything to do.
Here's the problem.
It's magnet, right?
Yep, and it's
Could that cause a problem with the electronics? Why you trying to fry my board for, man? What you doing? You're always breaking stuff, Rob. You know, you could go get like a sword or something out of the office. It might be a little bit lengthier to get to it, or scissors.
crap. This sucks. Come on.
How many times in the neighborhood when Rob was playing football do you think he fumbled? I'm just curious.
I was on defense today.
You pass him the ball in basketball and he tries to catch it like this.
I'm here with Travis Pitts, owner of CNT Foundations. Hey, Gary, does life seem a little more stressful these days? Yeah, there's a lot going on. I agree. And the last thing you need is the stress of foundation problems compromising the value of your home. At CNT, we're not only foundation repair experts, we're stress reducing experts. So if you have a foundation problem, don't worry. We've got this. Call 864-581-3341. CNT Foundations, your foundation experts. Seven Dust.
I was trying to be nice.
Please, I was a tight end too. I had hands, baby.
I'm guessing our neighborhood football would be totally different than your neighborhood football. So
Neighborhood football. Why wouldn't you just go down to your community football field?
yeah, that's what I thought. As I got older, neighborhood football was more fun for me because I was starting to get bigger than everyone in the neighborhood, and all the druggies who used to pick on me and steal my coat and stuff wanted to play. And they were already feeling good when they played. So I tried to break them, and not out of vengeance. That's just how I play football. And there was great pleasure the next day watching them limping around the neighborhood, going to those houses that they go to get the stuff that they get. Just happened to be across the street from my house. That was like 40 years ago, and I still remember all their names. I was going to say, it's been very difficult for me to go through the hallways the last few days as I'm recovering from illness because I cannot move quickly, or I might go through said walls, and it hurts. Rob typing like he's bored at his job. Just looking around.
I'm like trying to talk or type softer now.
That's what it was. You don't know what to do with your
I
head.
know I have to concentrate.
Like
too.
when I talk to people and I don't know what to do with my hands, Rob doesn't know what to do with his head.
Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown. Directly across from me, the Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave, the Alpha and the Omega of the Fan Upstate. He is the great one, Lonzo, here as well.
I cold nodded and made him stumble. Yeah, got it like that.
Lonzo's feeling better today, ladies and gentlemen. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good on a Friday. What a sports night we had. By the way, I don't know if you saw this. Before every Hurricanes game, Zoe, they have a celebrity or dignitary or whoever show up in the game, and they have an old hurricane siren, you know, like the.
I know what they are. Luckily, I've never experienced one, and yeah.
So
I don't think they still have to do that.
They have an old one. It's an old.
So they actually have to hand crank it. Okay.
So it's a hand crank hurricane siren, and they've got it sitting.
How loud is that at ground zero, so to speak?
Loud.
The guy who's cranking it. I mean,
freaking loud. Now it's funneled away.
So it's projected out.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But it's loud. Last night, former Carolina Panther Jonathan Stewart was the guy that they elected to come in and sound the siren. He broke it. He just muscled it off the stand and broke it.
So he didn't do like what you do with your pen. He was cranking it and it just broke.
He was working that thing. I am going to let you get away with that one.
I was waiting. I just look at. I'm almost disappointed.
I like that you immediately turned to the stream because you went, I regret that one.
Yeah. Well,
regret that one.
It's there. You really got to choose your words. Hey, could you button that bottom button or two? Because it's just, there's another one, but it's okay. It's all right.
No,
it's just,
they're all done
no, just for stream purposes, because we're it's very important.
There's another one.
Yeah, there is. It's okay.
Man, I gotta lose some more weight.
I'm glad there was an undershirt. That's all I'm saying. I might have saw some depths.
Let's go back to talking about Lonzo cranking it until it breaks.
All right, so he broke the machine.
Yeah, he wailed on the hurricane siren and roasted it. Just broke it. I loved it. It was great.
If you do that, are you like proud
Hell
about
yeah.
it? Okay.
Those things are made. Those things are made to be used in a hurricane. Jon Stewart just bicepped his way through it. It's incredible.
Were they showing him do it? I mean, so do you have the guns out?
I just saw the highlight. I was
Okay.
at the concert when it happened.
Yeah. Did he have the guns out
Hey,
when
no,
he was
he
doing it?
had a hurricane jersey on.
Oh, okay. Because you want that.
Oh, dude. Guy just absolutely shattered the machine. It was incredible. And then you got a game to match it. 4 overtimes before Kachuk was able to deposit the game winner into the strings with just over 12 seconds remaining in the 4th overtime. That means, for those of you not paying attention, that they played a 3-period NHL game and then another 3-period NHL game and then took that to an overtime period. They played 2 full games plus an OT period in full. It was unbelievable. Masterclass in goaltending. Both teams exhausted at the end of it all. It was unbelievable. If you did not watch last night, I don't know what to tell you. Last night was exactly why the Stanley Cup playoffs, if they're not the best postseason in sports, are no worse than number 2. It was unbelievable. We'll talk more about that later on in the radio broadcast. We got to get to the matchups we got coming up this weekend, including tonight, after the Heat rally from a 13-point deficit and steal game 1 on the road against the Boston Celtics. They open tonight, Zoe, as a 9-point underdog against Boston.
Where's the game at?
In Boston.
Okay. All right.
So let's say I don't actually know what the number is in basketball. Let's say you get 4 for being the home team.
Yeah, I am curious about that. How much you get for in the NBA?
How many points for being the home team in the NBA? In general, using the average closing line for the last 2.5 seasons, it indicates that bookmakers will assign about 2.5 points in an NBA for a home game. So 2.5. So that means they believe that Boston is 7 points better than the team that beat them a night and a half ago. 123-116, because Jimmy Butler's that dude. 12 of 25, 35 points, 2 of 4 from deep, 9 of 10 from the stripe. Pitched in 5 boards, 7 assists, and 6 steals in the process. I'll take Boston in game 2. Take Boston in game 2. I'll take Boston in game 2. But I'm not confident in it, right? Like, I think if you ask me the play in this game, I think the play is Heat +9. I think Boston wins the game, but I'm going to go Heat +9. I think it's close. And here's the reason why. In game 1, Boston shot 52% from the floor, but they shot 34.5% from deep. Miami shot, Lonzo, 52% from the 3-point line. That's an astounding number. Astounding. Kevin Love was 2 of 3. Jimmy Buckets was 2 of 4. Vincent 3 of 5. Struss 3 of 5. Martin 3 of 7. Lowry 3 of 5. They were stellar from range. That number is well above the average, and I think it's going to come back down to average. I think that number is going to be down closer to the league standard 37%. You take 3 of those 3-pointers off the board for Miami, Boston wins that game. I like the Miami Heat. I like the culture of the Miami Heat. I think they've built a very good culture. The best teams in every sport have a culture that's identifiable. I think the Heat have one.
I also like them for the reasons that we talked about the other day, Spoelstra's tan and all that kind of stuff, and Kevin Love. But going back to Spoelstra, when LeBron and Wade and Bosh were there, it was all, well, he's not really coaching. It's LeBron and those guys. Is it a little shocking that he's still around, and not only still around, but coaching teams way into the playoffs? Because they were in this position, I believe, last year also.
No, it's not a surprise. You're
Do
right.
you remember the bad rap that he was getting during the time when those guys were there? That he was just a figurehead, that LeBron was running the team, all that kind of stuff, that he can't coach, and where a lot of other teams have fired coaches, he's still there.
Yeah. After the big three broke up, which was what, 2014, 2015, somewhere in that ballpark. So you're looking 8 years ago. Ugh. After that.
By the way, it goes faster.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
No, it continuously gets faster
I know.
and faster. It sucks. It does.
It sucks. After the big three broke up and they split, everybody thought Spo was done, right? Because again, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron James, I could have coached that team to a conference finals, right? Like there wasn't much coaching that needed to be done.
Or was there? I mean, that's my thing. The fact that he's still there and he's still putting out some really good teams means maybe there was more than what people thought.
I think we can recognize that now, right? Like, I think we can recognize that now.
And you can say, well, he has a star in Jimmy Butler. Yeah, but what team doesn't have a star?
After the big three broke up, they were in the lottery for the 2015-2016 season, right? 2016 season, 48-34 conference semifinals. They lost to the Raptors that year. Then was the breakup between Wade and the Heat because Dwayne was busting heads with Pat Riley. He got sent out of town, left Miami. All three members of the big three were gone. Miami went 41-41, missed the playoffs by virtue of a tiebreaker. Coulda, shoulda, woulda been in that year as well, even without any of the big three. Name me a member of the Heat that wasn't LeBron, Dwayne Wade, or Chris Bosh those last couple of years. I'm sure some of y'all can, but you can't do more than one, maybe two.
The first thing that came to mind was Birdman, but that was Cleveland.
Chris Anderson.
Yeah, just because he was so unique.
Love that dude. Man, I did, and he was a psychopath. But anyway, after all three were gone, Spo got that team a half game away from being in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler showed up in 2019, along with Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder, and Tyler Hero. And since then, the Heat have been pretty good. They struggled in the 2020-2021 season, but remember, that was the year because of the labor disputes. There was only like a 2-month preseason where the gang was all together. They took some time finding consistency. They were the 6th seed, swept the first round, and got a rematch with were rematched with the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee, of course, beat them, but went on to win the title that year. They lost Dragic. They lost Iguodala. They brought in Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker. 2021-22 season, Eastern Conference Finals. Lost to Boston. This year, Eastern Conference Finals. Get a chance to get Boston. Eric Spoelstra, alongside Jimmy Buckets, who is him, have built a culture in Miami that is fun to watch. That being said, Boston's got the talent. Boston's got the talent. The only thing that concerns me about Boston is the fact that they're starting Al Horford. Al Horford has been in the league since I was in diapers, I think. You know what? We've been cracking on Al Horford the whole time. Al Horford, Lonzo, is 2 years younger than LeBron James.
I was going to say, he's been around for quite some time, and he hasn't
18 seasons.
He hasn't been a horrible player. He's been pretty good.
if you're a conference semifinalist, you can't. You can't be starting Al Horford. I mean, I know he goes 6'9", 240. He's absolutely.
I've heard some people say the same thing about Chris Paul.
I disagree.
On the station.
I disagree with that. Chris Paul at point. The thing is with Chris Paul, especially with Durant on the team, you can start Chris Paul. What you can't do is expect Chris Paul to get you 25 a night, right?
So are they expecting, that's kind of a half of one, but are they expecting Al Horford to get them 25 a night?
No.
What do they expect him to do?
7?
Does he play defense?
Yes. Yes.
Then there you go.
But here's the thing about Chris Paul. If I put Chris Paul out there and defensively you adjust and go, okay, here's the deal. We're going to lock up Katie and Devin Booker. Chris Paul can get you 25 points a night. Now, you don't want him to have to do it every night. You want him to have the ability to do it and say, all right, I'm just going to keep doing this until you lock me up and open up D-Book and Durantula. And that works. I can't have I can't have Al Horford running the power forward / big man spot and eating up possession from Tatum and Brown and Smart. I need those three guys to have a power four that is an option, right? Al Horford's not an option. I respect the guy. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. He's going to help you lock down the middle, sure. But Tatum, Smart, and Brown need an option at 4 when they demand attention defensively, which they do. They've got enough to spread it out with those 3 guys, but I want an option at 4. That's my concern. You're starting 6'9" Al Horford and 6'9" Robert Williams, who I don't dislike Robert Williams either. He's a 15-point-a-night guy. But you should have one of those guys out there and somebody else running a 4, running a true power forward. And they don't have that right now. And that is honestly what concerns me about Boston in this series with Miami. I don't see them winning for that exact reason, man. I think that's a problem. I think Boston wins game 2. But if Miami does what Denver did and steals both on the road, hello, small market NBA finals. And I'm, for the record, very here for it. Very here for it.
Well, I have a team that I'm rooting for in both finals. Hopefully they both make it.
Denver, Miami?
Or one of them. Miami and Lakers.
Miami, LA. Yes. Miami, Bron.
I think that's probably one of the things that the media would love to see and the promoters and everything, because
they want LA Boston. They want the classic rivalry. That is the NBA rivalry.
I get that. I know how this is going to sound, but is it a rivalry anymore? And when was it? Back in late 70s, early 80s? That's when it was a rivalry. You know how long ago that was? The bigger story, the more marketable story is the 2 play-in teams making it to the finals against each other, and it's Miami, LeBron's old team, against LA, LeBron's new team, because LeBron is still the most recognizable NBA player.
Fair. I mean, he is, for sure. For sure.
I think I get the old heads, the people that are
it's a throwback rivalry.
The purists and all that kind of stuff wanting that. But yeah, I don't think it has that kind of flair that it would have 30 years ago.
I agree. I am going to ask you this question. You kind of roughly brought it up back in the first hour, and I wanted to ask then, but I'll do it now. For a dude who loves what you described as lunch pail players, right? Blue collar, go to work, head down, no flash, no sizzle. It's just dirty nose sports. How do you not love Nikola Jokic? I don't get it.
I don't dislike Nikola Jokic.
I didn't say dislike. I said, how do you not love Nikola Jokic?
He's not my player, no. Right now, you should know this about me more than anything, I'm rooting for the chaos, and the chaos is LeBron winning another title, because the LeBron versus Jordan people are running out of things. And from that standpoint, I love the debate. And this fuels the debate even further if he were to go to the finals and win another one.
Fair enough.
Because Jordan had what, 6, I think, and LeBron has 5. I think it's 5, or does he have 4? Anyway, when LeBron if he equals the amount of championships that Jordan has, okay, LeBron has 4. Then how many does Jordan have? Sure. 3 before and then 3 after the gambling thing.
Repeat, break, three-peat.
Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm more rooting for that. I'm rooting for the chaos. If Denver wins the whole thing, cool. Because when's the last time they won, or have they ever?
Who? Denver?
Yeah.
No, I don't think they have.
Yeah. So I mean, that's still a cool story.
I mean, I'm here for it.
But I don't hate him. And am I a fan of him? Do I go out and buy, jerseys and stuff? No, but I don't do that for any basketball player, because I don't look good because of all the hair and just, I mean, and you may think it looks good wearing that t-shirt and the jersey over it. I'm not so sure that's the look for me. So.
James said, Jokic makes me feel silly for putting over Embiid for MVP. Oh my gosh, it's almost like someone on this radio station frequently and correctly lobbied that Nikola Jokic is the MVP. And y'all went, he's boring. He's been Joel Embiid.
All right, famously, Garnett wants to know what's the over-under for energy drinks Rob drinks today after last night. This is what, 3?
This is 2.
Oh, you're still finishing up 2.
But it's the size of my head, so.
Okay, it's.
Are you counting by fluid ounces or by number of cans? Because by number of cans, I'm only on 2. But if you're counting by 12 fluid ounces as a drink, this is 3 and 4.
Is that an average can for an energy drink? Because I've never drank one before.
This is 19. Usually, the big ones I get that have the screw top.
Yeah,
those are 26.
Well, the normal person,
so this is the mid-size.
The normal person that goes out and grabs an energy drink, what size do they grab? Is it that one?
No, I'm going to say 16 ounces.
So a little bit smaller than that.
Yeah.
So technically, you're finishing off 3 compared to what the average consumption is.
Like a Red Bull comes in the Red Bull comes in 8, 16, and 20. Monsters come in 12, 19, and 24, I think.
All right, so he's not
a monster guy over.
He's not nearly as hyped as I've ever seen him up on the caffeine. So he's good right now. He's got a nice even. It's kind of and we're halfway through the show. I think we're good. Now, if he starts pounding a little bit more, then we might have a problem.
Yeah.
I've never had to take someone off the air because they had too many energy drinks. I've had to have a talk with someone though, because they had too many energy drinks, and I had to tell them, dude, you're talking so fast, no one can understand you. Lay off the rest of the night.
That's cool. Anyway, the more of the Rob Brown Show coming up in the next hour. We got plenty of more stuff to talk about. NHL Stanley Cup going on, the NBA Finals. We've also got to get some Major League Baseball. The Atlanta Braves finally get back on the right side of things after a win over the Texas Rangers.
Why are you talking about next hour? We're still in this hour.
Yeah, I know. I was talking fast.
That's as fast as you can talk.
I mean, if I script something out and I read it, I could probably get a little bit going faster. Okay, but I think that off the top of my head, this is probably about the best that I can do.
I am curious
it's
about.
It's not bad though, right? That's pretty solid.
It's
a couple of flubs here.
Still
and there.
Slow for Ohio. I just did.
I'm from the South, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's a wizard.
That's my question. No, you're like, hey, city boy, slow it down. In Florida, do they talk pretty fast? Because it's such a mix of people from up north.
But you can't do that to the great state of Florida, because the great state of Florida is 2 states. All right. If you look at the state of Florida, you got the Panhandle, and then you got the part that looks like,
Yeah, you need to describe that for the radio.
Like there's this part, and then there's the part that
the elbow.
The comedians make the jokes about.
I still don't get it, but that's fine. That's fine. Even if I was 100% right now, I still wouldn't get it, so it doesn't matter.
If you take the panhandle and you slice off the flaccid part of Florida, I'll put it that way.
Okay.
You have two parts. You have the panhandle, and then you have
Yeah, the peninsula part.
Yeah, those are two different.
So where
two
it's
different states.
where it's connected to the country, if you just make it nothing but the peninsula part.
Yeah.
You're just talking about the peninsula.
That you could take that part
Yes.
and you could move it and attach it to New England, and it would fit in better, with the exception of Miami.
Okay.
Actually, let me tell you that. It's 3 states. There's the Panhandle, which is part of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, for a reason. All right, we call that the Redneck Riviera. That's where I'm from.
I've heard of that.
Lower Alabama.
I've heard
Redneck
tell that
Riviera.
exists.
That's where I'm from. All right. Then you take from Jacksonville down to 30 minutes north of Miami. That part can go up to New England. And then from Miami, Coral Gables, Fort Lauderdale, down to Key West, all of that is its own little region, its own little state. So I'm from the part that talks like this.
So what you're saying, you're from the slow part.
Redneck Riviera.
Okay. All right.
Lower Alabama, y'all.
Clarification is an awesome thing. Still trying to figure out what you were doing with your arm there.
Let's make it look like a dangly bit. You know what I mean? Dangly bit.
You look like a zombie.
Let's come back after this. I have a spot, Lonzo, where pop culture and sports are about to mix because something is happening in the world of entertainment that I did not know was happening until last night. And I got irrationally angry about it. I'll tell you what it is when we come back. My name is Rob Brown. That's the great one. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. A texter said, Rob Brown is tripping me out.
Yes, Bugs Bunny sawing off Florida. And grinning while he's doing it.
That was such a great scene. All right, guys, be right back while Alonzo eats a sandwich.
called the Silver Lake Conservatory of Music. The reason that I started doing this podcast was music education. I'll be speaking with Rick Rubin, Thundercat, Stuart Copeland, Margot Pratt, Corey Henry, Cynthia Erivo, Sheila E., and Patty Smith. Please listen and follow This Little Light, a presentation of...
So I've heard some people being critical of those who go to see Fast and Furious movies. I'm curious. Someone has to be going and seeing them. Why are people so critical of that? Because Crazy Momoa has really got me wanting to go see it. And plus, I think I've seen all of them. Not in the theaters. The only one I've seen in the theater was Hobbs and Shaw, which is an offshoot, but The Rock was in it, and Jason Statham, and that's a pairing that you don't normally get somewhere. The one with John Cena in it was pretty good. Yeah, are the stunts stupid and everyone would die? Absolutely. And John Wick would have died in the first 5 minutes of the movie. I mean, that's just what it's about. It's how more extreme they can get with the practical effects that they do with cars and stuff. I wonder if you're a car guy, do you go see that just to see the cars? What? Zombie NATO? Are you serious, Keegan? I mean, Sharknado was hard enough, but Zombie NATO? Because one of my friends and former colleagues here at the station has been hypercritical of anyone who would go see the Fast and Furious. I want to go just to take a picture and tell him that I'm there. Because he's the first person who ever called me a contrarian.
Not the last.
No, not the last.
So last night, I'm sitting down watching a little NBA Western Conference Finals game number 2. And as I do, a commercial comes on. Like they do.
Was it for the Little Mermaid?
No, see, I'm glad you said that because it kind of plays into where I'm going here. The Little Mermaid is an all-time animated classic, right? It's amongst the pantheon of all-time animated movies. Now, sure, there's problems with the logic if you look at it from an adult perspective, but for an animated kids movie, it's amongst the all-timers.
Did you really do the logic thing on a cartoon that's about talking fish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't need the lesson to be to my, 12-year-old daughter that it's okay to see a guy for the first time and then dedicate your life to worshiping him.
Maybe it's okay to embrace your differences.
No problem with that.
And things. I mean, there are other messages in the movie.
I don't disagree, but the primary story is what?
Octopi are evil.
I love octopuses. They're brilliant creatures.
It's octopi.
Anyway, the point
Somewhere
is...
Chris down the hall just turned his head when you said octopuses.
He'll be here momentarily. The point is, I don't really care that they're remaking that movie, right? Because there's a whole new generation of kids, and now we've got the tech to take what used to be required. You could only do it in a cartoon and turn it into something new, and I'm fine with that. No issue with that animated movie. No issue.
Can't wait to see Under the Sea. I mean, that song,
seriously,
that full-on ensemble.
Yes.
Are they going to pull that off the same way that they did in the cartoon? I'm interested.
I am too.
I haven't watched a live-action adaptation of any of the Disney stuff yet.
I've watched most of them, and they're mostly fine, right? The Aladdin one was fine. The Beauty and the Beast one was fine. They're fine. But they're kind of over there. They're still, I mean, they're still technically animated children's movies. They're fine. But there's another remake coming out that I am not fine with. They are making a modern take on one of the greatest movies ever made, White Men Can't Jump.
The ads for that are fairly entertaining. I've seen several different ads.
The reception for the movie is in the crapper. It is one of those movies, and this is something I have warned movie companies about for years. Don't put all the best parts in the trailer, because then everybody goes in thinking that's what to expect the whole movie, but you've already given me all the best parts. But here's the problem I have. I don't have an issue with Hollywood taking a modern run at a classic movie. Again, remakes of the children's animated movies, fine. No problem with you making an updated version for the next generation of cheering. Good. They should have the opportunity to have the experience that we had the first time we saw Lion King, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast when we were youths.
What is the heart, the exact plot of White Man Can't Jump? It really doesn't have to do with basketball. It's really about grifting, scam. It's about making money and fooling people.
See, I disagree with you.
So if they're able to do that same thing, because it doesn't have the same, I don't know, stigma, connotation, whatever you want to use, that it did when that came out, as far as the white guy not being able to jump, because there are plenty of those who can.
I'm going to disagree with you. The premise of the movie is using basketball.
Was just to put Rosie Perez on screen as much as they possibly could.
Fine with that too.
At the time, she was very, very cute.
The premise of the movie.
She's aged okay too, so don't, yeah.
Not wrong. The premise of the movie is that at the end of the day, the love of that game and the love of accomplishment through that game makes cultural divides irrelevant. Love of and it's I've got, for instance, I got big White Man Can't Jump vibes when Austin Reeves knocked down that half-court shot in Game 7 and the Lakers win over the Dubs. When Austin Reeves stole that ball at the end of the first half and knocked down that running half-quarter, there were big White Man Can't Jump vibes. It was like that team, there was no difference on that team. Everybody in that moment was like, this is that dude, Austin Reeves. It was very cool. I loved it. That's what that movie is about to me. And I think Wesley and Woody do a real good job of showing that basketball is a sport that at its core makes cultural divides irrelevant.
See,
Latino, black, white, doesn't matter. Around basketball, we're all hoopers.
This is what makes that movie really good, because I get everything you're saying, but to me, the heart of it is a scam. That's the heart of it. The scam that they're able to pull off on everybody. That's what it's about. I get all that, the love of basketball, the basketball thing. I mean, you could take that scam plot has been used a ton of times and is very successful, but this movie has layers to it, is what I'm saying. Is so it's different for me than it is for you, and that doesn't make it any lesser of a good movie.
I would argue that's like saying, remember the Titans is about winning high school football games. Like that, I mean, that is what the goal within the movie
But see,
was.
I would say that's the kind of perspective that you're putting on White Man Can't Jump, because you're making it more about the basketball, and it's the basketball really is the tool to make the money.
Right, but so the reason that movie was good is the environment in which they're playing basketball is a very specific one.
I saw a
right?
white dude jump over a car and slam the ball.
But I think you're taking so the title White Men Can't Jump isn't the title because of the stereotype that white men can't jump.
Yes, it was, because in the end, when he actually slammed,
Hang on.
barely, they made a big deal about that.
Correct. That is because it is a long running in that cultural environment knock on the white guys that come out to hoop in the street.
I'm aware of that.
Right. So the premise of the movie, as you mentioned, and you are correct, there are layers to that movie. It is not, but I think that only fits in that type of neighborhood street ball, right? The reason they were able to grift was because of how many guys in that movie saw goofy ass Woody Harrelson and did what? Judge the book by its cover and said that white guy can't play.
Right.
And Wesley saw this dude can hoop. We can go out there and run the street. We can go out there and run the hood and take everybody's money because of everybody's predisposed judgment of this white guy.
Taking advantage of stereotypes and profiting by it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the government. But, I mean,
It makes it an overall great movie. Now, here is the issue to me. You are taking a movie that is great because of the cultural differences in judgments that at that point in time, and listen, I've been playing basketball a long time. It would be a lie to say that those types of attitudes don't still exist on the court. They absolutely do.
All right, so here's the thing. You have a love of basketball that I don't have because I can never play it the same way. So that's what draws you into the movie. I like people being clever and not necessarily manipulative, but maybe. I like how that works and trying to figure out, okay, how are they doing all this to manipulate the thing to get the most money out of it? So that part attracted me. When it came out, I was going to a school that was mostly black. All that, the stigmas and everything that you're talking about, I experienced all that. But the basketball, because I don't have the same love of the basketball that you do, I think that makes you look at the movie differently than I do.
Maybe. And so maybe that leads to, maybe that's part of why I got to this next spot. All of the attitudes, all the cultural differences that made the story of Woody and Wesley's characters becoming a team, even if it's only a two-man basketball team, a team, are things that I experienced. And very fortunately for me in my high school days, my parents were the one that when I played varsity, every game day, the whole team came to my house in my neighborhood. One of my favorite stories of all time. I had a kid on my team, Nehemiah Weaver, went by Nick. He's a Baptist minister in Atlanta, Georgia now, and one of my favorite people. But Nick was a black guy on my team who was terrified of being on a boat, right? And there's a lot of dumb stereotypes that come because of that.
It's just, I'm laughing because it's kind of, you're living in the wrong state to be afraid of being on a boat.
So there was a game one day. My family had a boat, right? We had a boat. There was a
ain't nobody surprised by that one.
There was a game day that everybody came to my house, and Nick saw the boat and was like, nope. And all the black dudes on my team, Doug Porter, Magic Hall, etc., they were like, Nick, get on the boat. And they made this dude get on the boat. My dad took Nick out on the boat for a ride. We got in fact, I think I probably still got it somewhere. We got a picture of Nick on the back of my boat, holding on to everything, wearing like 3 life jackets. This dude was and the black dudes on the dock laughing their ass off, right? I became in that moment, I became brothers with these dudes. These were my brothers. These were my guys. I'm still in touch with the majority of them. I still see Magic Hall every time I go home to Fort Walton Beach. This dude's over 40. I'm 38, almost 39, and we hug like we're still best friends in high school. That's why this movie was so impactful to me because of that. Here's the problem. They're remaking it. Tell me what was wrong. It's not that Hollywood is remaking movies. I got no problem with that. It's that Hollywood is trying to make better movies that are already perfect. That movie is one of a very short list of sports movies that I believe is perfect.
Oh, I agreed. I was very angry when they remade Point Break.
Yeah.
They should never have touched that movie. There are some movies that cannot be touched.
That movie, White Man Can't Jump, that movie is perfect. And the other thing I'm asking is, and I'll give it a shot, but can you take what made that movie so special the conversations, the language, the stereotypes, the what actually happens on street courts in neighborhoods. Can you tell that story in a 2023 environment and make it as impactful as it was when White Man Can't Jump dropped? And also, who the hell is Jack Harlow? Just some thoughts. Back after this, I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
I think the question is, you know what the demographics were for the original, who they were going for. What is the demographics for this particular thing?
Disney movie clean. And you can't make that movie Disney movie clean.
I don't know. Do it. I think it's on Hulu. I think it actually comes out today.
Does it?
Yeah, I think so.
You can't make that movie squeaky clean. That movie's got to be street vulgar.
You also cannot show all that stuff on your preview.
True.
The trailer.
And that's why I'm willing to take a good chance. Maybe they make it feel like it is a street ball movie. It needs to be a street ball movie. King said, I feel like it isn't for us. It's for the Jack Harlow fans. It's for the next generation that may not get the references. It's like the Star Wars movies. They aren't for us. Also, Jack Harlow can ball. I don't know who Jack Harlow is, all right? I have now reached the get off my lawn age where I don't know who the New Day actors are. And that's not to say I wouldn't see it because I don't know who Jack Harlow is. Maybe he's the next Woody Harrelson. I don't know. We'll find out.
Let's see. Why is Jack Harlow so popular? Harlow's first major breakthrough came with the release of his 2020 single, What's Poppin', aided by its popularity on TikTok and following a remix with rappers DaBaby, Tory Lanez, and Lil Wayne. It peaked at number 2 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and went on to receive a Grammy Award nomination.
Okay.
So that's who he is. He's a musician. I didn't know that. But I know
he's
that
a
now.
rapper, but he dominates in every celebrity basketball game. Listen, I'm not making a judgment on the dude's rapping, his acting, his hooping. I don't know anything about the guy. Like I said, he might turn out to be great. And I'll check him out. I'll throw him on the Spotify after the show's over and see if he's any good. He might be. If Brandon says he's good, if Keegan says he's good, I trust he's good. I'll check him out. What I'm saying is, can they make that movie about street ball? Can they make that movie a street ball movie? I don't want a Disney version where they're like, "Hey, great game, everybody."
Yeah, because
really shot well today.
Because rappers are known as big time Disney people, except for Ice Cube.
I don't know. I'm definitely. I am gonna give it a chance. But
I forgot all about that movie, Marcus.
The original
Rob lived that movie.
Jump movie. I don't even know what that movie is.
Did you rollerblade? I'm picturing you rollerblading.
A white guy in a golf neighborhood.
Yeah, see, I told you he lived that. He lived that.
The original White Man Can't Jump movie, as somebody who played court ball growing up, was a perfect movie. Why? How do you tell that story better than it's already been told?
Why would you do that to my favorite movie? Again, back in my day, White Man couldn't jump. They just could not get up off the. It's like 2-inch vertical.
I was saying that I don't have a problem with Hollywood remaking movies. I was a big Aladdin guy. No problem with the remake of Aladdin. It was fine, right? Do I think it was as good as the animated version? No, but of course I didn't. That was one of the movies I watched as a kid. It was fine though. The new Lion King movie. Was it fine? It was fine. Was it as good as my Lion King? No, my Lion King movie was probably the greatest animated movie of all time, right? It was great. It was perfect. But I'm fine with the remake because it's for a new generation. This one I don't get. Lester says the movie is about Woody not transitioning as a person to basketball, which is a series of events. But at the end of the day, the film is about a guy refusing to adapt. And that's my interpretation.
See, if you're a lover of basketball, it was about basketball. If you're not, it's a good enough movie with enough layers to find something else. Again, for me, it was about the grift, and of course, growing as people, which you want to see. But it was about the money. Rollerblade hockey. Would you play rollerblade
I
hockey? Did you?
I did.
Game on.
Only hockey I've ever played, actually. Game on, eh? Game on, eh?
By the way, all the jokes about the 1%er thing, I'm not jealous of Rob. That's who makes him who he is. It's one of the only 1%ers I've ever actually spoken to. So, I mean, I'm learning all kinds of things. It's been a 3-year odyssey of finding out what it's like to be a 1%er.
Texas said best kids sports movie in the early 2000s has to be Like Mike.
Heavyweights, man.
Heavyweights is
No, Heavyweights is not. Little Giants is what I meant.
okay.
Is that basically the same?
Was there
thing?
not a movie called Heavyweights?
Yeah, that's with Tony Perkis.
Okay.
So there was Perkisizing in it, but it wasn't exactly a sports movie. Little Giants was the one with Rick Moranis.
Yes, it was.
And
Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill, yes.
Yes, indeed. Little Giant.
And Icebox.
Icebox. Becky. Had a crush on Icebox. Who amongst us didn't have a crush on Icebox?
And the dude who had his hamstrings massaged with evaporated milk every night. Spike. That was it, Spike.
Great movie, man. Let's see. Rick Moranis, Ed O'Neill, Shauna Waldron. What is Shauna Waldron up to?
Yeah, don't do that. That's one of those, what do they look like now
Yeah.
thing that you click on. And then
I'm doing it. I'm going in.
Are you? All right.
I'm doing in.
All right. Yeah, no, it is research for the show. So why not?
It is.
Go for it.
Let's see. Shauna Waldron, a.k.a. Becky the Icebox O'Shea.
Did she stop acting though? Did she continue with her career?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you approve. All right.
Mhm.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's see. What else is now I gotta see what else she's credited with.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you dive in, you might as well go to the bottom and see what you got.
Let's see. She was on television. Nothing that I recognize.
Teen type stuff or
The American President, The Yellow Sign, To Kill a Mockumentary, 3 Days in LA, Cyrus, Mind of a Serial Killer, Lizzie, The Exorcism Diaries, Stitch, Night Lights, and Dead Man Rising. Looks like she called it a career in 2016.
she was in Stitch though.
I don't know what Stitch is.
You really don't know
No.
like Lilo and Stitch?
Oh, did they? Was it like a spinoff?
They had
it is a
it's a
spinoff.
TV. They had a TV show
Oh, so
on
she did some
Disney.
voice acting. Got
Oh,
it.
that's cool.
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Learn something new all the time.
It's a pretty good show.
There you go. Little Giants. Becky. Icebox. Icebox was great.
That's not a cheerleader. That's my niece Becky.
The annexation of Puerto Rico.
And John Madden was in that
Yes,
movie.
yes, he was. Yes,
Talking
he
to the
was.
nerd. I don't remember the nerd kid's name, but you know, that nerd kid is probably a GM for some team right now, probably.
Loved it.
And Zoltek had that half of Darth Vader helmet at the beginning because they couldn't afford equipment.
Spaceballs. I just thought of Rick Moranis and Spaceballs.
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
That would be the one that you would go to.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be? It's hilarious. Texas said, I know it's a little older, but the Mighty Ducks. When the chickens are crowing and the cows are spinning circles in the pasture, ducks fly together. I know that was what was that, D3?
Remember, I hadn't seen the original, but you talked me into watching the original, and I did.
And?
It was good.
No, it's not
It
good.
probably would have been really good at the time,
It's not good.
but I was still old when it came out, so it
It's
wouldn't
not
affect me the same way.
Good, Lonzo. It's great, cake eater. What are you doing? My job.
Cake eater. Is that like being a milk drinker in Skyrim?
A cake eater would say that. Let's take a break. Back after this, we'll actually talk sports in the third hour of the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate.
So my uncle used to call people pot lickers. I never understood
licker.
you pot licker. So what's that?
That's a redneck insult.
What does that mean? He's from like Newark, Ohio. There's no way it's yeah. Chances are you can't have these semantic arguments with people who are old school using the things because they don't have a clue where it came from. It's just been passed on and passed on and passed on.
Cake eater. Evil will triumph because good is dumb.
By the way, you said we'll get back to sports. We never left sports. Talking about sports movies. It's the off season. That's what people do. White Man Can't Jump, basketball movie. Little Giants, football movie. Did you provide your ETA yet?
Yes, I went down there and talked to him.
So it's about the thing?
Yeah.
Told you. I told you.
Well, he wants me to add the stuff we talked about earlier.
Right. I told you it wasn't too late for that. His time accounts his time accounts for no one listening. So he throws extra time in there.
I didn't save the project. I just saved the finished file that I made yesterday. So I'm gonna have to
Did you save the edits though? Or do you have to re-edit to oh man. Although, do you have the music that you used under it? Right. So you could still, if you can gap it, you can put that in, match the music up, and you won't have to do the whole thing. Right. You could still do that.
Well, I was clipping different songs, and the songs aren't like with where the highlights drop in and out. So if I pull out a highlight, I'm just going to pull out a chunk of the song. So I may be able to fade in and out of songs.
I think it would be easier for you to do that than to do the whole thing, but you know.
I'll look at it.
That is until last night when Jamal Murray went off for 23 of his game-high 37 in the fourth quarter to give the Nuggets a 2-0 lead in the Western Conference Finals.
I thought Mike played great. Making shots. Bruce, I think everybody wasn't really on offensive game for most of the game, but on defense, everybody stepped up.
I've seen Blue Chips. I haven't seen the air up there. Is that the one with the dog?
Yeah, I can go down the line, but everybody had a moment.
No comment. We're a show for the people. That's what we do, James. Not just a specific people, but for all people. You got to do your arms like that when you, for all people. I spread them further, but it hurts.
He's got a one-shot lead at 4 under. Dustin Rose
When I read that, I thought you said this prospectus from Outback, not the Outback, because it's two totally different things. It's so dudes like making blooming onions. I like blooming onions. Can't eat one right now, but I love them. Oh, okay. Yeah, now I remember it. Still didn't see it, but I remember what it is.
Yeah. I want to edit out Uso and add LA Knight there. No reason.
We can do it, but he'll notice.
I don't care. Why would I be mad about that? All right. Real quick conversation. Lonzo, you had an interesting altercation incident.
For some people, it may not even be an incident. It may be that I'm recovering from illness. Maybe I took it the wrong way. I don't think so. Plenty of comments on social media going one way or the other. So yesterday was my wife's birthday, and we were going to an establishment for a meal because she wanted to go to that particular place. I never go in until people get there, but it's her birthday. I wanted to make sure that we got a table and everything. I went in and immediately I was asked, is your party here? It's like, not yet, but they're going to filter in the next 10 minutes because they're coming from various places to around town. They got off at 5 and they're on their way. And it's 5 when I'm around 5 when I'm talking to them. And the hostess, I don't know who's the person at the front of a restaurant, I guess is a hostess, says, well, I can't seat you now until your party's here. And I'm like, okay. She's like, I'll take your name. And when your party gets here, then I can seat you. So I've never had that happen before. And it really bothered me. And maybe it shouldn't, but I felt singled out a little bit because of some other things that happened later on as I sit there supposedly looking at my phone, but we know it's me. I'm a producer. I listen to everything. I look at everything. And I had noticed a couple that were in sitting in a seat, and 2 or 3 people came in, went across and sat down with them. So they set those. So if there was 2 people, would they have set me? Or is it just because I was by myself? And it just, and the particular place used to take reservations. My wife called a couple of times. One person said, yeah, we can do that. Call back at 4:30 and we'll set it up. The next person said, no, we don't do that, which I believe is the person that I was dealing with, which kind of had an attitude. And here's the thing. I could have, and I was very close to talking to the manager, and I would have talked civilly to the manager. The problem is, because of what I look like and how big I am, if I look the least bit angry, which is my normal look, even though to me, I'm smiling, to you, I'm scowling. But anyway, I've been in situations before where if I raise my voice just a little bit, people get scared and they want to call the police and stuff. And because normally my delivery is really low in public, just because I don't want everyone looking at me. And so I almost went to the manager, but because I didn't want the situation to escalate, which it shouldn't, I should be able to have a civil conversation with the manager and have them explain to me why this was going on while other people were allowed to sit down who were waiting for their party, because it looked like I was being singled out. Had my hair up, so it wasn't a hippie thing. Yeah, because the hair thing is a problem. You get looks, you get
literally as you were saying that, the text came in that said, Lonzo, it was the long hair, man.
Yeah, I had the hair up. I did, and had my glasses on. Hair up. The Clark Kent thing does work to a degree. So I had my hair up, had my glasses on, I was still wearing an anime t-shirt, but anyway.
All right. So first off, I'll say this. When I worked in restaurants, and I've only worked in like 4, I think, but when I worked in restaurants, both before I got into this industry and this may shock you. Radio doesn't always pay the multi-million-dollar contracts that Lonzo and I have now.
Come on.
So there were times I would bartend to supplement the radio income. It is pretty standard operating procedure to not sit a party. Now, the bars I worked at, you had to have the majority of your party there. So if it was a reservation for 4, you had to have 2 or 3 there. If it was a reservation for 8, you had to have 4 or 5 there before we would sit you. And the reason you do that is you don't want somebody coming in, sitting down at a table and going, yeah, party's on the way. And then 45 minutes later, their party's still on the way and they've tied up this table for this long, right? Now, if half of your party is there, all right, I know you guys are likely going to be ordering and getting some drinks and some apps, so at least you're spending some money. But I've had situations before where somebody comes in and tells me, oh, the other 3 are on the way. They sit down at a table an hour later. They're like, oh, no, they're almost here. But all they've had is a Coke. So you've tied up one of my money makers for 45, 50, 60 minutes.
So I get what you're saying, but there's also this thing where people were just standing around doing nothing. There were a ton of tables open. So I would not have been taking a table away from anybody. Yeah, it was starting to fill up a little bit.
I understand that.
And right as it started to fill up is right when everybody got there. And I said, no, we're not going here.
There's 2 spots with this. The first one is right. But if I do that now, the next time you come in and we are busy, you're going to be like, well, you didn't make me wait last time. And people will, especially in the era of the Karens, start throwing fits.
All right.
Because you let me do it last time. Why is it different now? And they don't accept anything other than I want what I want.
So what the hostess did with the attitude and the way it was explained and all those things is she cost them probably $200. Plus she cost the waitress or waiter, whoever it was, a sizable tip. And it's fine. If it was standard, then calling one person to try to put your name down and they say, oh, it's cool and everything, just call back in a minute, call the next one. No, we don't do that. Okay. So that's telling me that either standard practice for that establishment is not that here's how we do it across the board. It's however you want to do it. So because someone's having an attitude that day, she cost the company a little bit more money. And in this down economy, not as many people are going out to eat. Prices are more expensive. It was a birthday. So I had to tell my disappointed wife, hey, this is how I'm being treated. Let's go somewhere else. Unless you really want to eat here. And she said no.
Okay. So
and here's the other thing. This is my last thing. I will never go back there. And it's a place and you know where it is. It's a place that we eat quite often. They cost our business forever. If it's worth it for them, fine. But I don't think a manager would see it that way.
All right. So a couple of things in response.
Which my wife is planning on calling the manager, calling corporate today and talking to them about it, how it was handled.
So I'll start with a couple of things. Number one, and I'll start with the last one and work backwards. As somebody who worked in restaurants and bars, I would say, and this is just my own subjective opinion, but from somebody who has been bartender, manager, etc. 85% of people who go, I'll never come back here. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do.
All right. You know who you're talking to, right?
Yes, I understand you're the exception, but you're the exception. You're not the rule, right? So 85% of times I am going to follow the guidelines that my owner or GM or whatever puts into place. Even if you go, I'm never coming back here. That's fine because most of the time you will. You'll go, and it may be 6, 7, 8, 12 months, but eventually you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna give it a second chance. I'm gonna give it another chance. You will be back. Not you specifically, but most people who say that will be back. Number 2. I will trust you when you say, oh, one person gave an attitude. Like, sure, okay, I'll accept that is the truth. Working, and this is not making an excuse, though it's going to sound like it. Working in that environment, working in a restaurant environment, the majority of people you encounter suck, right? The majority of people that you work for in a restaurant environment suck. They're rude, they're dismissive, they're condescending, they're demanding. And on top of that, the people who act that way are the same people that most of the time are going to leave you with a 10% tip.
All right. So you walk in and this person's just leaning there because they have nothing to do and they're bored. And they don't immediately come up and as you're standing there for, I would say, at least a minute and 15 seconds because time is my life. And finally, she decided, okay, I guess I have to talk to him.
I would suspect, and again, not to dismiss your claim, I would suspect there's something going on here, right? If you walk in and again, I'm trying to be very delicate in the way that I'll word this because I don't want this to sound like an attack on Zoe.
Like you think I'm lying. Because it's leaning that way.
I start with, was it genuinely that long, right? Because I'm also the dude.
I know when the popcorn's done. I know time.
I know when the popcorn's done. I am very guilty at times, and I will acknowledge this, of not having a great grasp on time. Lonzo's my producer. He knows this better than anybody, not my fiance. To the point that there are times where I will be waiting and I'll look at her and be like, we have been here like 20 minutes. And she's like, we've been here 6. Relax, right? It happens. So I again, assuming everything you say happened the way that you say it happened, I will believe that. I will accept that.
See, again, when you say assuming, you're implying that either...
Is there a chance you made a mistake?
No.
No chance?
No.
Humility is your best your best virtue.
Well, it has nothing to do with humility. Is when I know the situation, okay. I know the situation.
All right. So I will acknowledge that I am prone to making mistakes a lot. Even when I'm certain about
so now
this.
You're implying that I believe I'm perfect and can't make a mistake.
You just said there's no chance you made a mistake.
On this situation.
Sure, but in this situation, you're saying there's no chance you made a mistake. No chance you misread something. You picked up a tone that wasn't there. You there's no chance any of this happened. Okay?
No chance.
All right. So Lonzo makes no mistakes in this situation at all. He's read the situation perfectly, and his timing is flawless. Let's say all these things are true. And let's say Miss Hostess definitely, when he walked in, had the thinker pose going, hand on bald fist, and was just not paying attention, right? Just not paying attention. That is, I would agree, that's bad customer service, right? No problem. Bad customer service. And you are correct in this case. But that doesn't change the fact that most, especially corporate places, even with empty tables, will not sit you until at least half of, if not the majority of your party is there for the reason that I gave you a second ago. And my thought as somebody who's been in that situation before is, okay, when you walk in, you're like, they're on the way, they're X minutes away. Cool. You're not going to have a problem waiting. Right? Now, it's different for Lonzo, but that is where I, as a restaurant worker, would very frequently go, would you like to have a seat at the bar while you wait? Right? Would you like to grab a beer while you wait? And for like me, I'm like, yeah, I'll grab a cocktail. That's fine.
She said nothing afterwards. She took my name and that was it.
Okay. Again, bad customer. I will agree with you. It's bad customer service, right? Bad customer service. That is a problem.
Normally, also at this place, they will even text you. You can put down your number and they'll text you when your table is ready. Nothing. Just...
How many people were waiting at the lobby?
0.
Okay, so there you go. I get that because again, like the last bar that I bartended at, we had the same thing. We had, hey, can I get your phone number? We'll text you when we're ready. We had a system. I would plug your number in. There was a little green button off to the side, and when the table was ready, you just push that green button, and it would send the text.
As I sat there for I think between 15 and 20 minutes, probably about 15 people came through.
Sure. But
in the restaurant when I came in, there probably was maybe 10 people in there at the most as far as eating. The rest of the people working were not working because they had nothing to do.
Right. So I want to look at it this way, right? Let's approach it from this perspective. You said in the 10, 15 minutes you were waiting, right? You got there, you checked in, you put your name in. You guys didn't have a set reservation. It was, I'd like to have a table when it's ready.
Because they said they wouldn't do that.
Okay. So you walk in, this is my name. Here's how many people are coming. And they go, great. Let us know when your party's here.
All right. So what they said when originally the reservation was trying to be made, we're not real busy ever. Just come on in. We'll be able to seat you.
And they told you that on the phone?
Told my wife that.
Okay. Now, I do have a problem with that, right? Now, my bet is the person on the phone on that call assumed you would be coming in as a party, right? Not one person and then 15 minutes later and then 10 minutes after that. If somebody calls and goes, reservation, can I get a reservation at 7? I assume that means your party's going to be there at 7. Not, I would like a table and then at X amount of time later, the rest of my
party. By the way,
will
if we made a reservation, it would have been 5:15, not 5.
Sure.
Because then everyone would have been there.
I understand that.
Yes.
But in the system they have in place, which is no reservations, you come in, you check in, you're on the queue, and assuming that they do have a policy in place, which they should have said, this is our policy. Sorry.
By the way, if they explained this was their policy,
again,
we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I would say all of this is based on, yes, this was poor customer service from the restaurant in question. The policy I don't have a problem with. The policy of we will seat you when your majority of your parties here is fine.
I don't have a problem with the policy either. If it's explained to me, hey, this is our policy, we can't do this. And if the phone calls earlier weren't said, hey, just come on in and we'll get, that sort of thing.
I'm going to, there are spots I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and not. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the person who answered the phone under the assumption of that meant 5:15, that's when or 5 o'clock, that's when my party's going to get there. Not that's when I'll be there and then other people are showing up. But that's a miscommunication I'll give the benefit of the doubt to. Bad customer service in the restaurant is the crux of the problem here. And I think my restaurant people would agree. Bad customer service was the crux. The policy's fine. I'm not going to give, even if we're not busy, I'm not going to give you a table for one person because you might be sitting there for an hour before your family or friends or whoever show up. And now, even if we're not busy now, we might be in 10 minutes, in which case you've chewed up a table, right?
Which during that time, I would have ordered an appetizer, drinks.
You might have.
Yeah. No, I know.
But most people won't.
So there would have been money had. Maybe not the amount.
But again, Lonzo, as is mostly the case in every situation, you're the exception, not the rule, right? And I've been in the game. I've got skin in that game. Most people aren't. Most people are going to sit there. They might get a beer. I'll get a beer while I wait.
Rob, see, the thing is, I think your view is skewed because of that man with the cup of soup. And we just had that discussion yesterday.
No soup for you.
This all goes back to that dude who bought the $4 cup of soup and the drink of water.
Yes, it does.
So
I have to do everything in my power not to let that be a thing.
So in the end,
poor customer service is the problem.
It's one person more than likely that caused the whole problem. And it led to some discussions because I wasn't aware that this goes on, which is cool. That's one of the cool things about social media. There are a lot of bad things, but there's a cool things. I threw it up. I will not drop the name of the restaurant because I'm not that guy, but I was curious if it had happened to anyone else. And yes, it had happened to more people than it hadn't. So there's a higher percentage of it happening, which would make it the norm, which means I've just been lucky. Which is fine. But because of no explanation, attitude, and things like that, one person with an attitude at your place of business can cause someone to never come back again.
Yeah, but I think that's true about anything. I've had radio shows before where somebody wrote me, I heard you say this in one segment and I'll never listen to you again. Like that's true of anything. All right, Texter.
Is that all it takes, man? There's some people I'd love to get rid of.
Couple of texts that have come in. Texter said, I hate being profiled at a bank, but at a jewelry store, it's great. Texter said it would be different if they didn't allow the other people to sit without their party. Lonzo has a legitimate gripe here. Again.
Yeah, that's the thing that got me.
But you said they were sitting multiple people, not a guy.
No, it was a couple sitting together. Sure. Then a bunch of people came in and went and sat with them.
A bunch of people or like 2 more people?
It's 2 or 3.
Okay, so you could theoretically say half their party, which usually is the guideline. It's half your party, or at least in my experience. Texas said, Rob, where's Lonzo eating to say not as many people are eating out? The only restaurant without waiting during supper hours is Hardee's. That's from Believer. Yeah, I think we've kind of grabbed the narrative there, but the lady friend and I go out all the time, and restaurants are full. They just are. Texas says on another restaurant.
Yeah, what you can afford and what I can afford. It just,
you know me.
Yeah.
Texas said on another restaurant front, how much tip should you give for to go? Not DoorDash, just carry out. Oh, man, I usually do a couple of bucks for the hostess who packages the whole thing together. But if you're not waiting on me for 20, 30, 45 minutes. No, I'm not. You wait on me for a dinner, I'm a 20% tipper minimum. You're starting at 20% and you can drive it up to 30. But if I walk up and I'm just grabbing my own stuff and leaving, yeah, a couple of bucks for the people who packaged it together, but that's going to be it. Texas said Lonzo is right again. Texas said, I missed the first hour. Have y'all talked any sports this entire show? Yeah, we talked Nuggets.
There he is. There he is.
We talked Lakers. We've talked hockey.
This is the only non-sports topic we've talked about. Now, you may say you talked about movies, but the movies we talked about were sports movies. So if you are that guy, find a smile, man. Because there's one out there somewhere for you.
Texas said, I used to run restaurants, and it was a big problem to have a party sit down that wasn't all there because they don't order until everybody gets there. So the restaurant loses money, and so does the server. Yeah, that's the reason for the policy is at the end of the day, the majority of people who say, I'm never coming back here, do.
By the way, during a busy time, I get that. And but this place was not busy.
I worked in a restaurant. You never know when the next 20 seconds or the busy time, right? I've had plenty of times where my bar was empty. I turned around to make a drink. I turned back around and my bar was full. And now I'm in the weeds when I had nothing and I was twiddling my thumb a minute ago.
Well, I didn't want to. I could have very easily been the male equivalent of Karen. I'm going to go with Mark. But that's what I think the male equivalent of Karen is. But I could have done that. I could have caused a stink, but instead took my business elsewhere.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. And just for that one guy, we'll talk sports. Just for that one guy.
Man, it's Friday.
Just for that one
Forget
guy.
that one guy.
Just for that one guy. The whole show's about him. Just for that one guy, we'll talk sports. We'll talk the weekend.
You know what I hope? I hope Jim Rome doesn't decide to talk about something that's not sports.
He's going to get so many angry texts.
I hope that Mark and Diesel don't decide to talk about something that's not sports.
Wow. Just for that one guy, it's all sports in the last segment of the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
Oh, is that kind
I
of...
almost made the whole week. Even when you weren't here, I was perfect.
Does that
Yeah,
count
that
as a full on?
Absolutely,
Because you cut your own mic. I know what you get somewhere else. I know exactly what you get somewhere else. There's nothing like the look on Matthew's face when he forgets to turn his mic on. It's just like, no.
Do y'all do that on the Pulse? Do you count them?
No, it's noobs.
Should.
You get noobs.
True.
So you get straight up noobs. No, it's like he forgets to do it, and then out of the corner of his eye, he's looking, and I'm just staring at him like, yeah, I heard it. Come on, dude. We're all in the same room. Of course I heard it. Or didn't hear it.
He said, I could have definitely done without 20 minutes of restaurant talk is all I'm saying. Well.
It's called a dial. Look, it's not really a dial anymore. It's a preset, which we appreciate being one of your presets.
That button, bro.
Break the knobs off. Chad does work, but I think Chad is more of a preppy. Well, I guess, no, Karen is pretty broad. In a lot of cases, very broad. I do find it funny that straight up sports guys are a lot like straight up political people. They have no joy other than the one thing that they're really into, and you can't blend other things in. That's what we've always done, is blend things. And Rob, I'm sure was doing it with Diesel before I switched over here, doing the same thing, blending in everyday stuff, because I like hearing that guy on the radio is going through something that I went through, because it makes you feel less alone. So it's myopic. I cannot imagine thinking singular focus and nothing else exists. And I have met sports fans like that. If you try to ask them anything outside of sports, they have no idea what to do. And if you're looking for a reason to find something you don't like, then why are you listening? Unless you just want to rage against it, which I completely get. Because I will listen to people, some shows that I don't like because I have the opposite view of, just so I can yell at the radio. But if you're just picking on one segment, it just, you know. Also, can you wear a shirt like what Rob has on and not have a good time? I think it's so. If you're in a bad mood and you look at that shirt, do you put it on? Do you think maybe it'd be a catalyst to a good time, or do you go, I cannot justify how I feel right now by I would dampen the shirt.
I put this shirt on because I had a bad mental health day yesterday. I just had a bad day.
You know, I was having one of those about this time last week.
I had a bad mental health day yesterday. I was not in a good place when yesterday came to its conclusion until the hockey game. The hockey game got me right, and I appreciated that. But I woke up today and told myself I was not going to let myself have another bad mental health day. And so I intentionally reached for this shirt as a part of that.
There you go. Okay. That shirt makes me happy.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear that shirt.
It was for exactly the reason you just said. I can't wear this shirt and have a bad day. Can't do it.
Just like me, I checked the weather specifically to see if it would be okay if I wear this thing, like I said earlier, because I'm only probably going to get to wear it once until like September. So, although the way the temperature goes up and down in here, you never know. When you say tribalism, we're talking like pygmies, cannibals.
Did you see Disney's shutting down the
yes.
Cruiser Hotel?
Yes, we'll be talking about it extensively tomorrow night on the Upside Pulse, 7 to 9 p.m., 98.9. Check it out. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Shameless self-promotion, the best kind. All right, only sports this segment. All right, just for that one texter.
Man, I know this is going to sound weird coming from me, but screw that guy. You know, it's Friday, my dude. Find something.
Head coach of the Denver Nuggets, Mike Malone.
Mike Malone.
Mike Malone, after the game was over, was asked by a reporter, you won game one, and all everybody was talking about was the Lakers. What's your thought? And Mike Malone said, and I directly quote Lonzo, put that in your pipe and smoke it, end quote.
Yeah. Your mom.
Mike. What a moment from Mike. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, eh? What a line from Mike Malone after his Nuggets get the second game and go up 2 on the Lake Show. And by the way, we brought this up back in the early portion of the second hour, when we weren't talking sports. To the people all up in LeBron's business saying this is his fault. Stop. All right? Stop. If the strategy here, which has been theorized that it has been, if the strategy here for the Lakers was, in every series, steal game 1, rest game 2, play it, see what happens. Maybe you get lucky, they have a real bad night and you steal it, but play game 2, come back to LA, dominate 3 and 4, and then all you need to do is win 1 out of 5, 6, or 7, which they did against Golden State, for instance, in the last round. And then you lose game 1. If you set it up that way, the rest should be 38-year-old LeBron James. The rest should not be for 30-year-old Anthony Davis. If the strategy for the Lakers was steal 1, rest 2, dominate 3 and 4, and then just win 1 between 5, 6, and 7. Then the rest game in game 2 should be for LeBron in the situation you're in against Denver, where you lose game 1, which means you have to steal game 2. If you're going to put LeBron on a pitch count, I need Anthony Davis to be that guy. And once again in game 2, Anthony Davis was the opposite of that guy. He was just some guy. Late in the game, clutch moment, AD gets a board. And if you're a big man, when you come down with glass, what does every basketball coach who is every basketball coached tell you when you grab that glass? What do you do with the ball? Gather it. Hold it strong, young man. Own that rock. That's your rock. Then go hard back up to the glass and put it back up. I don't care if I'm coaching 7-year-old rec league YMCA ball. If you come down with glass, you hold that thing like it's a check for a Billy, and then you go strong 2-hand back up to the glass and you draw contact. What did AD do? He came down with it, and Nikola Jokic just took his bread. Just took it from him. That's a moment AD needs to be a dominant player. And I don't care how good Nikola Jokic is. AD has to own that moment, go back up strong, and get a deuce. And he didn't. I'm not trying to make excuses for LeBron. My man is 38 years old and still putting this Laker team on like a backpack to carry them. But it needs to be a passing of the torch season if Anthony Davis wants to be listed amongst the NBA's greats. And he's got the talent to be listed amongst the NBA's greats, but I don't think he's got the noggin to be listed amongst the NBA's greats. And last night proved that that game was more than winnable for the Lakers. But he had LeBron trying to do everything, and AD down the stretch was the invisible man, and it's not good enough.
See, that's the thing with all these teams that has that one mega superstar, there's always that second guy. There's always that second guy who's not equal, but on the edge of getting up there, and that's what Anthony Davis is supposed to be. But you cannot play well every other game and expect to win the whole thing. And that's what he's doing every other game. So chances are, if it continues, the pattern continues, he's going to come out and dominate the next game, which would be great if you're a Lakers fan, because that means the Lakers will win that game. But if he can't find a way to do it, or just regulate, you don't need 40 points. Cut that by a little bit and save a little bit of that for the next game to at least make some shots and make some good decisions, which he did not do.
No, he absolutely did not do it. It's like, for whatever reason, AD just decided, I'm a role player in game 2. Like I said, if the strategy was to go out, play game 2, see what happens if we jump up 17 at halftime, all right, we'll turn it on in the second half and try to finish. But hey, come out, play it. We're not going to kill ourselves. Let's go back to LA more rested than them out of game 2 and make sure we win 3 and 4. And that strategy worked against Golden State. All they needed to do was get one between 5, 6, and 7. They brought it home in 7 back in LA. It worked fine. If that was the strategy, then the strategy is let LeBron catch a breather. AD, you are 30, dude. He is 38 years old.
All right, so I am not Mr. Basketball, know everything. I don't know what position the 2 is, the 4 is, the 5, all that. I don't get all that. I never cared enough. But is Anthony Davis playing the center position?
He plays a hybrid 4-5, like a power forward center combination.
Wouldn't a true center be better for this series? Because someone that's in there just banging around and hurting Jokic, I don't mean, like permanently, but making him feel it every time he comes in there, that type of thing. Wouldn't a true center help the Lakers right now?
Possibly if you had a good one, But I'm going to
I mean, I'm not
say,
talking him like Shaq. I mean,
that's what it would take.
yeah, okay.
I'm actually going to say, you know who would be perfect in this series? Kevin Garnett. Tim Duncan. Like a 4 that can be a 5 as opposed to a 5 who can be a 4. If Anthony Davis had the mentality of a Kevin Garnett or a Tim Duncan, the Lakers would be the favorites the rest of this series, because the only way you're not going to beat Nikola Jokic at the rim. You got to beat him 7 feet out. You got to beat him from 7 feet out to the rim, not from the rim outwards. AD is not doing that right now. If you gave me a Garnett that I could get the ball to him 7 feet from the rim and use other players to create room for him to operate on Jokic, I'd feel a lot better.
And Garnett also had that mentality.
Yeah, I'm a dog.
And AD doesn't seem to have that.
Correct. Kevin Garnett would have told Jokic, I'm going through your chest, young man. I don't care if you are the rightful NBA MVP. I'm coming through your chest to get to the glass. AD is like playing a finesse power 4 low man 5. And it doesn't work against Jokic, right? If you gave me Tim Duncan on this Laker team, the series is over. The series is done in 5, right? Because there's enough role talent elsewhere that Braun and that guy, combined with what Austin Reeves is doing, they can win this series. I think it's probably a 6-game series, but I'd pick LA. But AD is playing, I'm sorry, soft-ass ball until LeBron starts demanding attention. Now, when LeBron's driving to the rack, as he does early in games, and creating pressure in the middle, and AD can step out and kick it to him, AD's been fine. He's got a 40-point game. He can do it. But AD playing the game he wants to play when LeBron's playing the point guard instead of a shooting guard or a driving guard doesn't work. And it's getting them killed. It got them killed in 1, not as badly. And in game 2, the fact that AD disappeared down the stretch got him killed. All I'm saying is when I'm popping on social media right now, and I'm seeing people get absolutely dog on LeBron James, I think you're misfiring, dude. I think you're misfiring. I think you're getting after the wrong guy who's not coming up with the right moves in the right time at the right places. And I think that ultimately is your problem. All right, let's get to a couple of other things coming up. We have got Miami and Boston tonight. Boston's got the talent on paper to win this series. Boston's got the talent, but Miami's got the mentality and the culture. I don't know what to do about this series. I don't know who to bet on. I don't know who I like. You know what this series feels like to me? I think I said this yesterday on the show, but I'll say it again just in case. You know what this series feels like to me, Zoe? It feels like every game is going to have one player who goes off. Jimmy Buckets, Jason Tatum,
Sorry,
Jaylen Brown.
I just got an alert that someone is taking over this computer remotely, and I've never seen that before.
Hackers action.
Yeah, and this is the StreamYard computer. So
good.
I'm letting engineering know, because if it's them, we're good. If not, if some stuff shows up on here, it's probably not us. So
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Sorry about that. And I couldn't take a picture of it fast enough. You saw me grab my phone to snatch it over to try to take a picture of the alert, and then it was gone. It's just okay. What were you asking?
This series, Boston, Miami, feels like every game, whatever dude is the dude who takes over that game, whatever team he plays for is going to win. Whether it's Jimmy Buckets, whether it's Jason Tatum, whether it's an unheralded role player, one of these two teams, maybe both some nights, are going to have a guy who has a night, and whatever guy has that night, that team wins that night, which means this thing could be over in 4. This thing could go all the way to 7. Whatever dude puts together the most nights, that team wins the series.
Well, you got to believe both ways, especially Boston is like, okay, we need to shut down Jimmy Butler, but that didn't happen. So the big time stars, even when you try to shut them down, sometimes they're going to shine through and do what Butler did yesterday or 2 days ago. So who's going to be the one to step up tonight? I don't know.
I don't know that there is a way to know.
And
that's why I'm not.
But that's kind of cool though.
I've got money on the Lakers Denver series. I've got money on individual players in that series in different spots. I got no damn clue how to bet Boston Miami. It could be Jimmy Buckets one night. It could be Jason Tatum. It could be Jaylen Brown. It could be any given night a dude pops off. The only reason I think I lean Boston in this series top to bottom, Zoe, is they got one more dude that can pop off. Statistically speaking, the night of a pop-off game statistically leans Boston, so therefore so do I. Dallas, Vegas tonight in the NHL Stanley Cup Western Conference Finals, Game 1. And I hope this thing goes to 4 overtimes, too. I hope I'm up till 2:30 in the morning watching hockey.
It's Friday, so, I mean, you know.
Let's go.
You do have a baseball show tomorrow, though. So, I mean, but you can get some rest before that. What time is that show on?
Noon to 4, Bet for the Cycle, hosted by your boy, Rob Brown, and former baseball player turned professional smartass on the radio, Cody Decker. We will be on the BetQL app, the BetQL network, and streaming on both Twitch and YouTube tomorrow. Search for BetQL and watch Bet for the Cycle with me and Mario. 2 weeks back-to-back, nobody's won the parlay. The next parlay loser, Zoe, the social media decided it would be a shot glass full of Da Bomb sauce off of the Hot Ones TV show. Which, if you haven't watched it, it's a fun little show. They bring on celebrities.
Still the better. The shot glass is a better move.
See, I thought the wing would be worse because it sits on the tongue long.
Yeah, but
it's more presence of time.
Okay, it will be better for you when you lose to go with the shot glass than it would have been the wing.
We got screwed the last 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks ago, we missed a 3-leg parlay by a half of a base. Last week, we missed the parlay because we took Tampa on the run line. Tampa was up 6 runs and then lost by 1.
Wow.
I was furious.
By the way, engineering
beats.
Engineering has apologized.
Oh, it was them. Okay.
It was them. Yeah,
Good.
Yeah, it was them.
Ask them why our stream viewership got cut in a third.
I'm not so sure that it wasn't a troll job, but you know. It's like he's watching on stream. Let me see Lonzo freak out by doing this, but you know,
checks out.
Yeah,
checks out.
It worked.
We have not yet gotten to the fact that U.S. men's soccer just got a little bit better. Coveted multinational striker Folair Balogun has been flirting back and forth between Team England and Team U.S. And on Tuesday, the 21-year-old striker said that he is going to be playing for the United States squad that plays in Mexico in the Nations League semifinals on June 15th. Born in New York to Nigerian parents, spent most of his childhood in England, which opened him up to play for any of the 3 countries internationally. He did represent England in official youth competitions, came up through Arsenal's academy, seemed destined for the England senior team as well, but broke out with 19 goals this season on loan at Reims in France, and an England call-up never came. So U.S. Soccer, in a very smart move, I think, accelerated their recruitment. Balogun ended up snagging him off of the England U21 squad, traveled to Florida where the USMNT was on training. He left without publicly committing, but last Tuesday, he sent out a social media post that had the U.S. Soccer crest on it, along with a video that announced that he would be playing at U.S. Soccer, and since then has changed his Twitter profile picture to a neon version of the U.S. Soccer crest. U.S. Soccer has predominantly missed one thing: a true 9, a true striker, a true goal scorer, and now they got one. You pair him with a wonderfully creative assisting mid like Christian Pulisic, who can also finish if you square the pressure up on Balogun. This is a massive pickup, and I am jacked about it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was an entire segment where we stuck to sports.
Quit giving that guy his. I mean, come on.
You're welcome, that guy.
He probably already tuned away anyway.
That one texter. You're welcome. Texter said on Boston, Miami isn't being coached correctly. That one dude, Lowry's on fire. Why didn't they give him the ball the whole game? I agree. Kyle Lowry was having a game and then just disappeared. I didn't get it. You're not wrong. Back after this to wrap up the show. It is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate.
What are you doing, man? What's wrong with you?
So many things.
Gotta go.
So many things. Bryson DeChambeau. Bling, 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 bling.
Helping the Mets post consecutive wins for the first time in a month. The Marlins beat the Nationals 5-3. The Guardians 3-1 winners in Chicago over the White Sox. Aaron Judge and Anthony Volpe homer, leading the Yankees past the Blue Jays 4-2 in Toronto. Wilson Contreras hit a pair of 3-run homers.
I think I'm good tomorrow. I am short one person, but I think I'm good. If I could just find that one thing that makes T2 go off, like I did with the argument with. Gosh, how could I forget that dude's name? Willie Nelson.
So,
You wanted to fight about Willie Nelson.
I do love some Willie. But I do have a sports thing here that I just came across.
Yeah.
Heather O'Reilly has been a wonderful player for the U.S. women's national team, played at the highest level. She's 38 years old, but she's been playing for the U.S. women's national team for some time. She just joined the NC Courage out of the USLW League, which the Greenville Liberty will be playing this year twice.
Okay.
That'd be like if Christian Pulisic joined Knoxville and played the Greenville Triumph. That also means that I will be calling a game with a U.S. women's national team player in it.
So you're Rob Brown.
That's pretty exciting.
You're still Rob Brown.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop.
Bling, 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 bling.
For the ones who get it done.
Staples has everything your business needs all in one place. Shipping supplies and services, so you can fill orders from all over in one stop. Plus, professional print and marketing services at your fingertips. And now, during Staples Small Business Deal Days, when rewards members spend $100 or more, they get $20 back in rewards plus another $10 back with the Staples Connect app. And you'll find new deals in store every week on tech, chairs, and shipping supplies. Get everything for your business for less at Staples. Rewards offer ends 5/27. Limit 1, redeemable in-store only. Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always
Man, I wish I cared enough to really put in some time on Photoshop. So I know I could get good at it if I practiced enough. But it becomes a thing when you go home that it's like, okay, why am I working?
I started learning video editing. I'm still getting better at it. And it's gotten to the point that I'm starting to do stuff and put stuff together that's like, this is not part of my job. Like, I'm doing this for fun. I have to work.
Stay on just like a pair of laced up sneakers. Get hands-free slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Imagine if you received the alert that I did on your home computer, that someone's taken over your computer.
I just throw it out a window.
you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect. And now try Babbel Sleep.
I'm gonna go in there, dude. Don't you have something to do? You're like the only guy in the building. What are you doing? Sure, he has a good reason though, but he could have warned me. He's getting me back for this. That's what it is. I just thought about it. It's what he's doing.
So real quick, I'll pull back the curtain for those of you still on the stream with us.
Yeah,
before the show, Lonzo walks in his new 98.9 quarter zip. By the way, big quarter zip guy over here. And Captain America Chris Evans down the hall is in the office hanging out. And he goes, "Oh, that's cool. Where'd you get that?" And Lonzo looks him dead in the face and just goes and points at it like, "I work here, dude." It's incredible.
Time for Twitter trending topics where I tell Rob what's trending and he tells us why. The first thing that's trending is Tyson Fury.
Is he retired again?
Oh, you don't know.
Retired again?
You don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, this is a thing, dude. He and Dana White are going back and forth to the point where Tyson Fury has called Dana White some unflattering names that have to do with female genitalia. And John Bones Jones has checked in and invited him to come into the octagon. This could all be a work. It could very well be a work. We know how Tyson Fury talks. So, I mean, that's how he comes at people. But yeah, there's a lot of chatter.
Okay. Tyson Fury v. John Bones Jones in a boxing match. John's head ends up separated from his body. John Bones Jones v. Tyson Fury in an MMA match. Tyson Fury never boxes again. It's all a work. I'm going to go full Zoe here. It's all a work. Fury's out of the spotlight because people have stopped caring about his constant retirement on retirements over the past 2 years. UFC has put together a couple of cards, but they've also put together a few that look good and turned out to be disappointing. I didn't go to Charlotte for the card. It looked like it was a pretty decent show, but a couple of guys like Rosenstruck that they have kind of been names for them have been getting beat, but not by people they've been growing the sport with. Hey, everybody, look at us.
Okay. All right. So again, I agree. I think it may be a work, but if it wasn't a work, it wouldn't be surprising because that's how Tyson Fury talks and stuff like that.
Fair enough.
All right. The next thing that's trending is Jason Momoa.
So Jason Momoa's, I'm going to assume this is connected to Fast X because Jason Momoa is the bad guy in this one, which, by the way, Jason Momoa has got a great bad guy look, right? Like Jason Momoa.
He's got a good bad guy laugh too in the trailer.
He seems like.
Did you just throw a truck at me?
He seems like he seems like a real good dude in real life, right? Like he just seems like a good dude. Every interview I've ever seen, and granted, a lot of bad people learn how to fake that, but he seems like a real good dude. I like seeing good dudes play bad guys. It's just always something fascinating to it. And as Lonzo pointed out on the stream a couple of segments ago, are they dumb movies? Yeah, they're supposed to be dumb. They're dumb and fun. Dumb and fun is fine. Nobody's asking you to consider Fast X for the Oscar for Best Movie. It's just, hey, let's go watch Vin Diesel and John Cena throw cars in the buildings for an hour. No different than let's watch a giant gorilla and a giant lizard fight each other in the city.
Yeah, and someone mentioned...
Give me big, dumb movies.
Yeah, and someone mentioned earlier about Ludacris in it, and he's been really good in the entire series. All these guys have been really good in this series.
And Tyrese.
And at the heart of it is family. But in the end, they keep Brian, the character, alive through the whole thing. They have never killed him off. He's always...
Did he not leave? I thought he left.
No,
Didn't they do like the dramatic...
No, he's dead.
Yeah.
But like he's like in the last movie, he's at home taking care of the kids. They keep...
I don't like that.
I do, because I think that's awesome. I think that's a way to keep that character alive. It's an homage to the actor who lost his life. And I think that's it's very cool to me. And if you judge people by the movies they go and see, stop judging, man. Just go out and have a good time and have fun. Be there to go, wow, that could never happen, but it was cool to watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the radio broadcast. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us all week, all day. Have a lovely weekend. Bet for the Cycle is on tomorrow, 12 to 4 on the BetQL Network. You can look at it up on Twitch and YouTube. Upstate Pulse tomorrow night, 7 to 9. Lonzo's back, y'all. A lot of nerd stuff to talk about on that show. We'll get the next Ray D and Dio segment scheduled as well. Have a lovely rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. If you're at the zoo tonight, I'll see you there. Otherwise, see you back here Monday to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. Finally felt like I started sounding like myself again there today.
Because a part of you was missing. Because I wasn't here.
True. All right, dudes and dudettes, you're all spectacular people. You are all loved and appreciated. You're amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope you have a lovely weekend.
Even you,
if you're
Kevin.
at Brew at the zoo tonight, come up, find me, say hi. I'll be the guy that looks like me. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter. I'll probably jump on social media a couple of times this weekend. NASCAR All-Star Race, North Wilkesboro. Racing at an old legendary track Sunday. That'll be good. Y'all have a good one. See you Monday. Bye.